All right, welcome to the party, pals. So, welcome back for another week of Study GRC with our weekly meeting on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central. This is the first live stream of the year, first video of the year. So, thank you for hopping in. We're going to go ahead and get this started with, just the standard intro that we typically go through and do. I did make a couple changes, so let me know what you guys think. Thank you for everybody hopping in, though. We got AB Showtime. We got David B. We got B-Dubs, Z-Murph. We got Regine popping in, Space Tacos, Dwight, so many different people, GRC Mafia. So let's go ahead and get the party started here. So first off, this is just a little bit of an overview. So the first 2 weeks of each month, we're trying to go through and do presentations, which we just go through and throw out 25 minutes a piece, but really it just varies on the presentation. And then we open it up for Q&A, open discussion, and then we'll try to throw some activities in at the end as well. We do try to keep the meetings, open for everybody and so forth. So after the presentations, or if there is no presentation, we just open the stage. We want you to feel comfortable to come up and video or just microphone, up to you, and contribute. So, but this is just kind of a high-level view of like our goal and focus and that 2-hour time mark. We're all here for like a shared mission to break down some barriers, collaborate, and make a more secure future. So this is a safe spot to learn and grow together. Each of us come from different backgrounds and just use and leverage the community. There's plenty of people out there that are more than willing to help. You just got to ask, or we'll figure something out. There's so many different people across the realm. Now, some of the guidelines here. So it is a business casual meeting. The meeting is recorded and live streamed. If you do share something that you don't want to be public, just let us know so that way we can go ahead and try to get that removed, especially if you come up on stream, maybe share too much, or you drop something in chat that you didn't want to. Just reach out to me. You can also contact us at contact@studygrc.org, just so we can go ahead and take the proper measures with that. Like I was saying, especially if you come up on stage, feel comfortable to come up on mic and or video. I'll drop that link for the stage after the presentation. Drop your questions, share your personal LinkedIn. So with the personal LinkedIn, the best way to do that is to actually join our Discord server if you haven't already. And then we have a live stream chat over there where you can drop your personal LinkedIn and then it'll actually share it across all the different platforms that we're streaming to. And then still share your useful resources, other topics and so forth, even if it doesn't deal with exactly what we're talking about. Worst case scenario, we'll circle back around to that. And we're going to do the best job we can to mark all of those in chat. If you can, try to premise it with just like a cue at the beginning, especially for the questions, makes it a little bit easier to find. So another thing, so studygrc.org for the rest of our platforms and some more information. We have like our resources and calendar, a couple other information there. You also check out like simplycyber.io. So a lot of you guys are going to be familiar with that. That's like a sister partner company. They all kinds of amazing things. I think a large majority of us, if not all of us, are from over there. And then also Britt White. So brittwhite.io, I'm going to go ahead and drop in chat as well. So we have a fancy command for that. So B-Dubs is dropping absolute fire every single Monday on her blog. Check out all of that. It's like hacker mindset, GRC, and all kinds of useful information. And then we got another one here for Team SC as well. All right. And also on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Central, we have the privacy stream, which is like a 15 to 20 minute live stream with me and Dwight talking about various privacy related discussions and articles or news updates, things like that, to kind of just get some conversation started in that realm. It's a really hot topic and it just keeps growing. So we just want to share some of that information and get, more open conversation about it. And again, thank you for everybody for hopping in here with us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and transition now over to our presentation and get Rhonda up on the stage. So this presentation's government work, pros and cons, advice to stay out of the Gulag, and welcome to the party, pal, Rhonda.
Hi, Chris.
So I'm going to go ahead and leave it to you and let us know. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Drop all your questions in the chat. We're going to mark those and take the questions at the end, all right?
Okay, sounds great. Just based on my background, I've been in many, worked for several government agencies throughout the years, and talking to Chris, he thought you guys might find this beneficial, so I'm just gonna get started. Pros of government work, most people know you have stability. It's mission driven. You're contributing to whatever agency you're working with. It could be national security, diplomacy, or and just public service in general. There's many avenues for growth. Some positions, not all, of course, have some work-life balance, just depending on what role you're seeking out. That you get exposure to diverse missions and things like that. You just really want to keep moving and not kind of get sedentary in the same position. Just find openings and move around in there. To try and not get stagnated into one position. Cons, there's always bureaucracy, things like that. Government, isn't without its own challenges. You're always navigating red tape, and that can be frustrating for some. And, issues of innovation, limitations, encounter burnout, which, that I experienced that in my role with Homeland Security. Just being the only one. When you see me put team solo in there, it's like I'm the only one that was supporting seven airports by myself. In the local South Carolina region, and that kind of gets a little difficult. Each agency has its own complexity. Department of State, you had diplomatic challenges. In the when I was with Department of Defense, it was more operationally focused. Getting started, there's pathways to entry, of course, are for the GS positions, or direct government paths would be USA Jobs. That's your portal for finding those positions. And you have direct hire authorities for veterans, students, specialized roles. Working, maybe an entry as a contractor before you step into a direct, USA job role might be a way for you to get known within the community and make those connections to get the GS role. With that said, it's essential to network and connect, with, the people in those areas. And, make sure before applying that you meet those eligibility requirements, and tailor your resume to highlight your relevant experience. Go next. Clearance. A lot of people have questions about that. I've always been, every position I see, which, being in the IT roles, have always required a clearance. And, that's your barrier to entry, really. So, a lot of times your contractors and whatnot will sponsor, and you'll want to, in the job description, it'll either say clearance required, which means you already have to have an existing clearance, and then, or it'll say ability to obtain. So, which that means, they'll sponsor you so long as, you meet the requirements and things like that for the position. When they'll send you information to fill out the SF-86, and you have so many hours to do that. Once you receive it, or they kind of shut it down. So, be mindful of that, and, be very truthful, because they are investigating you thoroughly, and also keep in mind, if you have any financial, like credit issues, legal issues, those things may impact your eligibility. But, sometimes if you're at least honest about it, they'll make that a consideration depending on the severity, of a hit on your credit report or things like that. And of course, the sponsoring employer or agency does cover all the costs of that. You would never, if anybody's telling you that you got to pay a certain amount of money and they'll provide you a clearance, it would definitely be a scam. The agencies, or like say if you had a job interview with Lidos and they told you, that they could get you cleared, they're not going to obviously ask you for money for that. Government frameworks to know, since this is a GRC channel, obviously you want to be able to, talk and, elaborate on experience, knowledge of, the NIST CSF. Some positions, like for example, I've worked with a GSA company that they needed a 800 171 because they're not a government entity, but they do handle CUI, which is the Controlled Unclassified Information. And PBO would definitely be who you'd speak to about 853. And then FedRAMPs, cloud services, just make sure you're knowledgeable. CMMC, it's like your contractors and things like that. If you, like, say, the contractor for a government agency would need to meet certain cybersecurity standards, and that, frequently required for roles, provides competitive edge, those kind of things. But, it's all the federal agencies, pretty well use most, these FedRAMPs. 853, my experience has pretty well been with CSF and 171 at this point. Crafting the resume requires a very different approach than a private sector. These are much more detailed, and often, they could be upwards. There's no limit on the federal resume because you have to, be very detailed, and you want to be, specific, because they have, you'll see in the job thing, the job description, they're called factors. And, like purpose of contacts, who you worked with, and the nature of your interactions, scope and effect of your work, which would be how it impacted your programs or missions, and highlight any knowledge of, frameworks, for example, 853. And you'd want to use measurable accomplishments, such as reduce costs by 15%, through a redesigned workflow would be an example of that. And then you'd just want to tailor your resume to the job description and use action-oriented language, such as developed, led, optimized, things like that. And then, leadership, problem solving, those are all big things. You just really want to just drill down into the job description and, make sure you're covering all the factors and, hit each one of those. Navigating the job opportunities, for direct GS positions and whatnot, you'd want to use USA Jobs for that. And OPM provides information on benefits, training, and workforce resources once you were in those positions. You just want to keep checking the USA Jobs. You can't, like you'll see most of the time, it'll say open and close by, and then you might not hear anything for a long time, just depending on, and then sometimes they'll have, some put in there that are, really quick. But just make sure, you meet the eligibility requirements. If it says, veteran or whatever, which that's rare, that, they're only open to veterans and things like that. just, be mindful of, if it's internal hire, veteran hire, things like that. And here's contracting opportunities, clear jobs, clearance jobs. There's one I had on here. Yeah, this GSA e-buy, small, if you're, kind of doing entrepreneurial, small business, independent contractors, this is a good one to see what's out there. Dice, LinkedIn, of course. And finally, my advice is, make sure when you're looking at the position, know your why, and, make sure that, if you want to work, just make sure that you're behind the purpose and support that mission. Focus on the impact of your work, and whether it's something you really stand behind. And while you're in those positions, build your network, because those are the ways that you get to, kind of move around and find different opportunities, just like in any other position. The GovLoop is a really good professional community in the government space. When you're in those positions, each one of them has their own different, what do you say, hierarchies and acronyms and things like that. And it may take you a little while to figure those out, just like with any company, or, they have their different acronyms and things like that. It took me a while, even with Homeland Security, to figure out, it's like, what's an LTSO, an STSO, those kind of things. So, and obviously set boundaries, because they, as a contractor, they're always going to try and be like, you're a contractor, oh, you should be doing this. Well, if it's not in your scope of work, don't do it, because you're setting an expectation that, they'll come back and be like, oh, well, you did this for me before. Well, just make sure you don't put yourself in that position. Just because, that once you do that, you're thinking, oh, you're making the customer happy. Well, then you've set that expectation. And then in the future, if you don't do it anymore, once, you find out that that's not part of the scope of work, then they start kind of complaining, or, whatever, that you're not, you're not up to their standards, because you're no longer doing that thing that wasn't part of the contract. Obviously you want to stay adaptable and things like that, because those kind of things do change. And like I said before, you just want to keep growing. I wouldn't stay in a position, in a long time, if you find that you're not growing in that position and you want to, move around and things like that. Just, always keep looking for those kind of positions for your next step. A lot of times the companies, will pay for those certifications and things like that for you to move around. And that's all I have. If you guys have any questions.
Bam. Yes, questions were piling in. We have a whole bunch of them here. Let me just double check with this last little section. Yeah, great job. Great presentation there. If anybody else has any other questions, go ahead and drop that. So in order, we went ahead and marked out some questions. Let's go ahead and move back to slide 1 here. And yeah, great job. Thank you for joining us today. So this is one of the first questions. So how important is it to really list all of your previous jobs with accurate dates? That has stopped me from applying to government jobs.
That's a good question. I mean, it's very important. It has to be accurate, because they are pulling your background. And if something doesn't line up, they're going to question it, and they're going to kind of side eye it. So I keep a list with any job. It took me a while to compile that list, because I had to go back, because that happened to me once on a clear, when I was filling out my SF-86, even with that, because you have that on your background check, and then like say the contract role, they're investigating you too, looking into your background, because they have to vet you before they put you forward to the government agency that you want to work for. So you really want to make sure all that lines up.
Is it possible to like go through and get like a pre-check to get the right dates in case you didn't keep really good record, or how does that work?
I'll have to get back to you on that one. There was a website that I was provided a long time ago, because like when I was with Homeland Security TSA, our contract changed every 3 years essentially, so we'd have to reapply with the new contractor. And one time I missed a date and they caught it and kind of called, started. I was like, I've been in the position for 6 years already.
And
So
that's how you get sent to the Gulag.
yeah, exactly.
All right. And then our next question here is there a way to check if you really have the ability to attain the required clearance?
I mean, the main thing with that is make sure, there's nothing crazy on your credit, and because they do check your credit very thoroughly, and you don't have a criminal background. You've not.
Starting to get a little worried with your questions here, Flakinator.
Credit's a big one, and then you've not been convicted of a felony, pretty much. DUI's one. You can lose your clearance for a DUI. Things like that.
All right. And then we also have one here from Space Tacos. Is it safe to assume that a federally crafted resume would be adequate for state and city government?
I would say so. I mean, I don't know that you would need to go that far back, because like a federal resume, my federal resume is probably like 15 pages. Because, I'll go all the way back because, like with those GS 12, 11, 12, 13 and up positions, you have to show and verify that you have the experience up to that level, right? So, but, city and state, I don't know when I've applied for a city job or whatever that I've used my federal resume for that, but you could certainly take a lot of info and use that.
And then the next one here, how safe do you think government jobs are now with the possibility of federal workforce cutbacks? Or do you think that those are just all talk? This does touch a little bit on the political side to an extent,
Yeah.
but really, I think that changes with every single administration, regardless. People, get worried.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with that. I mean, I think,
So,
with the government, you can look at, was that I think it was sam.gov. It'll show you any kind of you can research and look up any upcoming government contracts. And, there's always, government contracts for IT, you know, whether it's the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, TSA, Homeland Security. There's a lot of different agencies within the federal government. You just have to kind of look in that sam.gov and see what, they're putting out for bids. Has been where I've, kind of found a lot of mine to figure out what contracts are up for bid and up for award. Those kind of things.
all right. And then, well, and so real quick before I do move to the next one. So, especially with your time in the government, as administrations change, um, would you say that you see a lot of change from one to the other, or does it?
I haven't experienced that. Usually everything just kind of moves along from one to the next. Because I mean, especially if the contracts are, have already been awarded, they're not just going to pull out of the contract that they've paid for. So
Yeah. And then we also have Teehee here. Does the government have a pipeline for fresh graduates to GRC and privacy positions?
Yeah, I mean, that would just go back to, looking on USA Jobs. Sometimes they advertise that. I'm pretty sure once you go into USA Jobs, there's a link that shows student, fresh, recent graduates, veterans, things like that. You just kind of have to keep an eye open for those because they're really not advertised. You really just have to go keep an eye out on, and you can set alerts for different, what do you say, titles that you're looking for on USA Jobs.
And then the next one here, how difficult is it to get employer sponsorship? I
Um,
believe that's talking about the clearances or
yeah, it's not difficult. If you meet the requirement and you make it through the interview process, and they'll ask you if you have the ability to obtain the clearance, and you say yes. They'll put you through. But one thing I will say is make sure that if it says, what's the terminology? Like if it's a new award, it'll say upon award of contract, which means they were, in the middle of putting themselves to be awarded the contract. And that can, there could be 10 other agencies or companies, like for me, CACI, and Paraton were, bidding back and forth with the latest contract that I was on with Homeland Security. And I worked for CACI, and then Paraton reached out, and made an offer to me that was, basically said, you know, once they were awarded the contract, I would be offered the position. So there is no guarantee until they've actually been awarded the contract. But it doesn't
yeah.
hurt, because if they're going to pay for your sponsorship, your clearance, then go for it. And then, whether they get the contract or not. And usually they'll kind of hold off on that clearance thing until after they've been awarded. But, there's always CACI, Paraton, they're kind of a big, those two are big players in there as well, like as with Booz Allen, Hamilton.
Bam. Yeah, I think it's great information. And thank you for sticking out for questions as well. So here in a moment, we'll open the stage, but we still have a few more questions because pretty popular talk tonight. So Space Tacos, I've heard from a few people that an IT career in government is great. So I'd like clear and correct information to post on the treasure trove. She wants video evidence to post it on the treasure trove.
Okay. Yeah, and it's great for, breaking in that barrier to entry.
How quickly can you get promoted, and can you start with a GS 13 or above via schooling or veteran status?
I mean, I would think
Half
you
that
could
doesn't even make sense to me.
yeah, I wouldn't think you with zero experience could start as a GS 13. But you could get in there and move around. I was a GS position, like I said earlier. And my position got taken over by because I was with the Department of the Navy at the time, and that's when they brought in the Navy Marine Corps intranet, and all of our positions were contracted out. And but if you want to maintain that GS, always be moving around. Don't because you're not gonna if you stay with like say a GS 9 step 1, step 2, you're never gonna get to that 13. You find something open and be willing to move around to get to that 13 level. Because if you could just go in, oh, they brought me in as a GS 9, you're never going to get to a 13.
Bam. Let's see here, and then the next one from Larry, another GRC Mafia regular. Can you speak on the managerial supervisory differences between government environments and the private sector?
Mm, I've not done a lot with the private sector. You know, I mean, I would imagine it's about the same, just being in those supervisory roles and things. You're, leading a team. That's kind of,
Yeah, and like I feel like the hierarchical structure of the federal government is a little bit stricter.
yeah,
Like you're actually going to get in trouble if you don't follow like chain of command type of thing. I
yeah.
think is like one of the big differences.
You have your scope of works and your metrics and things like that. Running reports that I've had to run reports and provide to my government counterpart as a contractor and things like that. So, but I've not been in a leadership position in the private sector, unfortunately.
Do you have any knowledge of GS-15? That doesn't exist, Larry. Doesn't exist. Nope. We don't know what you're talking about. Did you have any comment on this though?
No, I don't. I'm not at that level. I mean, I'm sure I could be at that level, but I'm not at that level, I guess, per
Would you
se.
like to be at that level though is the
No,
real
I would
question.
not. That's probably a move to DC, and I don't want to live in DC.
Flakinator, I wonder if having a trail on the internet since the early 90s is a good thing or a bad thing. Depends
Yeah,
on which identity you're referring to, Flakinator.
don't post anything you don't want out there, I guess.
Larry also you mentioned moving around and not staying in a position for too long. How would you attribute time getting used to a new position or being new to federal employment? Could you leave too soon?
I mean, I would at least stay in the position for a year, at least, I mean, and, go in there and, kind of make your presence known and show what you can do and, make those network connections. And, you might find somebody that, thinks, oh, well, you might be a better fit here and be able to make those lateral moves quicker.
Damn. And then, what is the lowest slash best GS rank to target for someone with no experience in government technology?
Mm, well, I mean, based on the job description, if you pull one up in USA Jobs, it'll basically tell you if you can't align your experience with if you pull a position up and it says GS9 is the minimum and you don't meet those minimum requirements, I wouldn't even apply for it. It's like I was right out of the Navy and based on my experience, I applied and got a 9, right off the bat. But I was, prior service as well. So I had, veteran points as well. That was so long ago, I don't remember. But yeah, make sure, you meet the minimum qualification for the position, you want to, and all even if it is just make sure your whatever you're putting on your resume aligns with that position, and usually you can meet the minimum requirement. You just kind of got to be creative about it.
And then we have this next one. What is considered public service in government work? Like, how would you define that? Or how did they define it, I suppose?
I mean, I would think all of government work, you're providing a public service. It's supposed to, government's supposed to support the public in initiatives and things like that to support, like Homeland Security. I mean, my latest, like when I worked for Homeland Security at TSA, we provided a service supporting all the airports for the passengers and whatnots that were going through that, trying to fly, take whatever the transportation was, for that.
And then McCoy also said, I arrived late, so apologies if was covered. Are there recruiting or hiring seasons for government work, or is it just all the time, particularly for GRC?
I would say all the time. Like I said, you
Yeah,
can
and like they're also constantly trying to fill, right?
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
I mean, like I said, I would just create alerts. I have alerts set up for mine, and it'll pop occasionally on what my requirements are.
And then Space Tacos mentions not trying to test this theory, but would you say it's a little more difficult to get fired in government work as opposed to the private sector, or is there not really a difference in your opinion?
I don't know. I've never been fired. So, I mean, I know that, I know several people that were, and, it was pretty well fairly difficult and legal and things like that were all involved getting them out of their positions and out of government work in general.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like maybe PVO will come up and provide some more context on his experience with it. But like I've heard really from both sides on that too. Like I've heard people say, "Oh, it's almost impossible," and I've also heard other people say like it really just depends on how big of a trash fire you made.
Hmm.
Like there's also the jokes like, "Oh, you're gonna get sent to Minot, North Dakota, or Antarctica, or something like." You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, I've heard that too. They make it very uncomfortable, and then you end up
right?
quitting rather than firing. So,
Yeah. So I think I feel like without any experience in that realm, but the way that other people have kind of communicated it is it depends on like what department, what projects, what you do. Like there's a few different things that coincide with that.
and the
So
severity of your actions. It's like being my background
yeah,
where I was at. It was like I had to recover their computer information, their profiles off of their computer, provide it to whoever I need to provide it to, and then they would go through kind of forensic analysis, things like that, and go from there. And sometimes I had to be involved in those things, so those are
and
never
so
fun.
yeah, I bet. So I think we went through all the questions there. Um, So I went ahead and dropped a link for the open stage. Thank you so much for your presentation and for going through all those questions there. If you guys have more questions, Rhonda is typically on the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing inside of the Simply Cyber YouTube or Discord, which I think the short code. I think I might only have the website on the short code for Simply Cyber.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
But
available. You can message me on LinkedIn or Discord. I'm on there. It's usually just my keep it easy, my first and last name.
bam. Yeah, and thank you so much for your time. So if you want to stay up, of course you can. I want to respect your time as well, so it's up to you. And then we got PBO hopping in, probably to combat a few things. PBO,
No,
how many times you get fired in the DoD?
I've never got fired. I've got in trouble a couple times, but I never got fired. Shout out to her. I just want to come up. She did a great job. I know she was a little nervous, so I want to come up and personally give her a shout out from the triple OG myself. You did a great job, so I want to give a shout out to you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Uh, the one guy in there, just a couple things. Not only anything her is he made like a 13. 13 is hard to get, man. I got offered a 13. He made it sound like they would give out 13s like water. 13s, you're gonna be in six figures. The thing I think
Mhm.
Rhonda can elaborate, those bands are wide. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody like 50, 13 step one. What's the last step? 9 or 10,
Yeah,
whatever the last.
I think so.
They're like 50 grand apart. It's like 70 grand in there. So you can be a 13 step 10 and be higher than a 14-1. So those grades are kind of weird like that. I think when I look back on it, I got offered a 13 step 5. I was being young and ambitious. I should have took that. I just never thought I could be a 14. Shout out to Larry. I just never thought I could get to 14. That's one thing I was kind of, because that 14 is kind of like up there. I just never thought I could get to 14, and I actually made a little more money in the private sector. So.
Yeah, it's like from what I've seen, most of those positions are not where I want to live anyway. So
Yeah, I too is like you said. That's before remote got popular. Long story short, I'm in Indiana. We have a DFAS DoD financial base here, so that's how I got in. And sometimes they were bracket bases for a while.
hmm
And
well, yeah,
so yeah, so you can be a place that's bracket, and you got to move your whole family across the country. I get a lot of offers to go to DC, Maryland. I'm like, I'm not driving in that traffic. and I'm not paying $500,000 for a little bitty house. So I'm
It was
not
like the Charleston Navy base was bracked where we're at. Yeah. So now it's Joint Base Charleston. We're going to combine with the Air Force. So.
Yeah, so you need to put some respect on that 13. You said it like they be passing them out. Put some respect on that 13. But I think if you put in work, like she said, if you have a unique skill set, I was an Oracle PBA and they were super hot back then, so it kind of got me in that 13 bracket. And I got a lot of special projects. I was and I somehow got on the top team. I'm gonna interview this guy. He actually had a top secret polygraph. I don't think I would pass that because I'd just be too nervous. So, like Rhonda said, I got in a couple of problems because I always pay my taxes late because I'm lazy, and I forgot to put it on there. They were hemming me up. I was like, dude, it was an oversight. It's not like I'm trying to. I'm in good standing. I wasn't embarrassed, and I just paid it late.
Yeah.
They asked me, and for some reason, I just didn't put it
Yeah,
on there.
anything to do with taxes, you
They hung me up. Of course, I'm late again paying, so I think I got hung up on my last one. I was like, oh, my bad. I just forgot to pay, man. I put in the extension and I'll be lollygagging. So, yeah, that's.
Especially now because they have that immediate alert system. Now, it used to be like every 10, was it? Depending on, I think, secret was 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then public trust was 10. Top secret was like 4, something like that.
I got a knack, which is public trust. And when I was left, what was quick story, and I'll throw it back to Chris, is I got promoted through a lot of teams over 2 or 3 years. Then I was in production doing work, and somebody says, what level of security do you got? I'm like, I got public trust. They're like, why the hell are you in production? I'm like, they gave me the password. It wasn't my fault. But yeah, so yeah, Misty, I do a lot of IRS work. Long story short, like she said, I'm the NIST 853. The agency in there organizationally defined for me is the IRS. The last 20 years I've done IRS type work doing this. So that's kind of where I live at.
A lot of times, like, because I came into Homeland Security with a top secret and they only required a public trust. Well, I held my top secret until I was up for clearance again, and they would only clear me back to a public trust. They wouldn't maintain.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That top secret is nice to have. There's some jobs, I work with a guy.
He had a poly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to interview my guy. He's kind of my mentor. We always get into it. So, yeah, he was at DOD for 22 years. I didn't think he was, as a contractor, I didn't think he would ever leave. So he finally left, and we actually ended up on a state contract together. So he taught me a lot of stuff I know. So anything I do that's kind of questionable or something I need help on, I usually just reach out to him. So
that's good.
But
yeah, I wanted to just shout out Rhonda here, because also, like, throughout your entire presentation, people were throwing it in chat, thanking you for presenting and congratulating you on it and so forth. I think this is going to make a really great cut just on its own with your presentation, because you dropped so much information there. And then we do have both B-Dubs and Space Tacos up on the stage. I dropped a link for the stage again, so anybody, you're welcome to come up and join the stage, contribute if you'd like on mic. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and keep an eye on chat as well.
Yeah, Mike Oz, I guess that was to me. That is true. I've never had that owing, because I never was in a I guess a bad place with the IRS. It was just kind of oversight. So, and it, being 1 year behind, but that could be a fireable offense. Just the work I've got, nobody's ever act like it was a fireable expense. Once I told them, and 9 times out of 10, I'm like, oh, I better pay it. So I usually owe. But now that could, I've never been fired for that, but you're correct. That could be a fireable offense. People are getting, like you said, a little touchy on it. I guess I need to tighten up on that. A lot of times now I work for private companies doing IRS work, so it's not as critical. I'm not actually getting IRS equipment. A lot of times when you work on IRS, they send you out laptops. I work on an agency equipment that's hardened at that level. I think if I had IRS equipment, I think that would bring another level of scrutiny to that.
Yeah, and thanks for clearing that up as well. So there's the fixed one, and not paying it on time can be a fireable offense. That clears it up just a little bit there.
Yeah.
Just wanted to, I had pulled up the wrong one.
Missy, I'm gonna be very transparent. I had a great 1099 when I was younger and I wasn't paying attention. I made a lot of money. I owed the IRS like 50 bands. I owed like 50,000. Long story short, you can easily get on a payment plan. You would be in good standings. The IRS love putting you on a payment plan. I just called them and said, PBL, my bad. Can I get on a payment plan? The IRS says, why, yes, you can, young man. We can get you on a payment plan. I was in Vegas doing Vegas stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. PBO wasn't doing.
Yeah, that's all we want you to say, PBO.
Yeah, I was living a good life, boy. In my 30s. Woo, that's all I'm gonna say. Woo. But yeah, even if the cool thing is, this is real talk. If you owe the IRS money, state or federal, they'll put you on a payment plan. You be in good status. Just pay your bills on time. I paid it for like 5 years. My bill was so big. Shout out to the IRS though. They were nice.
When my husband retired from the Navy and got his first job out of the Navy, he was like, "Holy crap!" It's like, oh, so we definitely were familiar with that payment plan.
Yeah, the cool thing too is I didn't realize this. A good friend of mine won a government contract. He paid me a whole bunch of money, but he gave me 1099. I don't think how people know how much the half of the corporation pay your taxes. When you have your company, you got to pay both sides. When I get that big boy bill, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I almost voted Republican. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Okay, so I retract that. PBO takes that back. PBO.
Now, look at this. I just want to call this out because we are on our first live stream. We are 48 minutes in, and we already, on the second of the year, have to go through and do a reaction in our video. Thank you very much, PBO.
What's the normal stand? PBO statements are PBOs only, not to study GRC.
Yeah, we're gonna start every single thing with a what's the proper term for it? Yeah, disclaimer.
Shout out to T. But you know, that's all I'm gonna say. Dwight, I was making it rain. I ain't gonna tell nobody what that is. I was making it rain in Vegas. That's all I'm gonna say, man. I live a good life. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Did you, B-Dubs or Space Tacos, have anything to add to the presentation or ask Rhonda here?
I wanted to say thank you to Rhonda for the dope presentation. I appreciate it because I work for, I don't remember which government. I don't remember if I'm city or state. I'm one of the two. I'm not federal. So, but thank you. It was a really great presentation with lots of dope information. I worked as a subcontractor for 2 short-term contracts as a medical coder twice before. And I was so close to getting my public trust. And the contract ended. They were able to pull me up faster the second time because my information was already in there and the job was only about a year apart. But it's been a few years now, and I was so close to getting it. And I don't know if I'm still in the system, but
well, usually it's 2 years of if like say you ended the contract and then land in another contract, it'll still be active for 2 years. If it's at more than 2 years, you would have to go through the whole process again.
Yeah, I'll have to. If I get one of those, I try to avoid those jobs because I don't know that I would even pass through like a clearance, like an official clearance level. I could probably get the baby level again.
You would pass.
I seriously doubt it, sir, because you don't know everything there is to know about me.
I know enough. You'll pass. If I can pass, you can pass.
Man, you don't know squat.
If I can pass, you can pass. That's all I'm saying. But,
yes, but you're not me.
Facts.
My history is plagued with tacos. So, yes, no, thank you, Rhonda. It was a marvelous presentation. I appreciate it. And now I will sit and listen and think happy thoughts and throw snarky comments in the comments.
There we go. Can I join over there?
You're welcome to leave whenever you'd like, Rhonda. But we really appreciate your time, and I want to respect that too. So definitely feel comfortable to pop back onto the YouTube side or otherwise if you'd like. And then we also have Cyber Stoic here and B-Dubs. Did you have anything to add here, B-Dubs?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you did a great job. Thank you for coming up and presenting and being our first talk of the year.
Thank you.
You
can thank Chris for that.
Shout out to Chris.
And B-Dubs' article for stepping out of the shadows.
Yeah. Peer pressure.
We don't do that here.
No.
Ever.
If it
Never.
helps, Rhonda, I'm going to be the first one for February. And despite what those two knuckleheads say, the peer pressure is real. So I feel you on that.
There's no peer
Whatever
pressure,
helps you
Space
out your
Talkers.
right?
Of course, there's not.
No.
Whatever helps get you out of your comfort zone, though, right? That's how we all grow. Is when as soon as we get out of that comfort zone that we all like to sit in. Me personally, I'm only going to speak for myself, but I'm sure you all can attest to it at least once in your career or just life in general, right? So, hey, this is my first time just using the Restream on my iPhone. I apologize. I was just trying to see if this even worked out. And Chris, I appreciate you letting me join and doing this. And Rhonda, that was a great presentation. I was asking about that GS13, that PBO was laughing at too, because I'm sitting there thinking, I used to watch a movie way back. I'm going to age myself, but it was called Spies Like Us, and those guys got that, they got bumped up real fast. I don't know why, but
no, I seen that movie. That's funny.
but the long story short, I was curious about, Rhonda, was just I'm also a veteran. So that status plus school plus whatever certs, I just didn't know if you could. And GS13 I know is crazy high, but my point, but is like GS9, somewhere around there without starting out, say at 7 or something like that. I don't know what. Yeah, so that's
where I started out. One of my first GS position right out of the military was a GS9. So,
and just climbing on what Rhonda said, where I worked at, I'm in Indiana. Fort Bend is a D5, still D Financials. All our guys worked for, all the top guys was military. So they really wanted you to bring in military people. And they would train them. I would get a ton of military people. I'm like, and his name is Nelson. I'm interviewing him. He was out 14. I'm like, Nelson, this dude doesn't know anything else. That's why I pay you to train him. He was really big on the military, and he brought those guys in and he trained them, and he helped them get promoted. So once you got in that train, he'd be like, you be here. I'm going to move you to these 2 or 3 teams so you get some experience. So those guys would get to 12 pretty quick. I think they would come in at 9 or 8. He would train them in like 3 or 4 rotations, like DBA work back then. Back then we did bills, which would be DevOps and some other jobs, and he would help them get promoted pretty quick. So I think it depends, and Rhonda can chime in, what area, kind of how what service you in. Once again, I was in D5s, which is DOD Financials, and they were real big. I worked with a lot of ex-Navy SEALs and just people, and they were promoting real quick because he was really a service guy. He wanted to make sure those guys were taken care of. Where I worked at in Indiana, once again in D5s.
And thanks for hopping up, David, by the way. I've seen you around on the Discord, and I think we chatted the other day.
Yep.
So, bam. But yeah, everybody's welcome to the open stage. So if we don't have the presentation, then we just open it up right off the bat. Also, next week is going to be a mystery talk, which is going to apply to way more than just GRC. Who knows? But definitely want to tune in for that.
What day did you give me, Chris?
No. We don't need you this next week, PBO. Scratch that.
Now.
Live on stream.
Okay, sweet.
Quick patch,
sweet.
hot fix.
I'm good. Just let me know,
PBO's been removed.
I'm good. Just let me know when you need me. I don't need a topic. I can talk on anything, but just let me know. I'm like, I was in there. Just let me know. I'm good.
Exactly.
But
let's see here. What I was going to say on this one. Yeah, go ahead.
No. If you have a question lined up, I apologize. I was just typing. I was like, this is new. Me people behind the glass and now in front of the glass, in the glass with some type of glass.
Exactly.
And, so I seriously, I appreciate all that y'all have done. I try to catch up on everything. I'm going for my CISA. I failed once, and it's sad. It's sad because I thought I had it, just from experience, and I've got many different stories on that, thinking, oh yeah, my school and my certs, blah blah blah. That doesn't mean nothing, because if you don't know how to speak ISACA, then you ain't getting that CISA.
No.
So I wanted, Chris, I think you have the CISA, right? And PBO, you too?
No,
or
I do not. I have studied. Okay. I studied it through ACI Learning and went through some of the material before, but I have never tested for it, and I don't plan to anytime soon until getting at least closer to that experience requirement. Because I think it's a 5-year with information system audit experience.
Yes, and that's what I'm working now, but you also get a 2-year if you have the degree. So at least that'll cut me down to 3 years. Mm-hmm. And just not about patting back, but I just got promoted to senior. And if I want to get to project manager after this, Appreciate it. Thank you. I have to have that, or you're supposed to, I should say, or at least within the 6 months afterwards. And my company will reimburse if I pass. But that first time I didn't pass, so I said, okay, well, that was 500 and change, right out my own pocket. So
I've been there. I've been there.
I wanted to ask if you guys had any not questions, sorry, any thoughts or ideas to help us along or help people, anybody really that's trying to take one of those harder tests. Even Sec Plus to some, it can be hard. I did it. I liked it. It showed me a lot of different things, but some people have that real anxiety. I luckily don't have that anxiety, but I hate when I thought I knew something and then, no, sir, you didn't. So just curious.
Let me chime in on that because I took the CISP, didn't pass, so you're not alone. My job figured out I only need the Security Plus, and I never went back to the CISP. That was a huge mistake in my life. So I want to encourage you to retake it. When I worked at DOD for the CISP, half the people didn't pass. So in our organization, I work with some brilliant dudes. So it's how you take the test, how you become familiar with the wording of the test. I'm a test bank guy, so there's a couple of test banks I use to help me pass that. So, and I think kind of figuring out what your learning style is kind of helps you on that. My goal, and Chris knows, I said that in 2024, is to pass the CISP. A lot of times when I was looking for a job, a lot of the senior job descriptions said that's preferred. I talked to a recruiter. She told me if you're going for a senior level, you don't have the CISP. That's the benchmark to get to the next level HR. For a remote job, because 300 people are applying for them. So I would just encourage you, don't do what I did, like 20 years later, trying to get it again. I would sign up, keep grinding. It's no shame until you get it. My thing is, I make decent money, so I'm like, hey, I got some money. Hell, what's another 5 in there? But I'm single. My kids are grown, and know nobody want me, so I got a little extra bread. So I'm gonna throw it to Chris. What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
Well, and so like Dwight mentions, community for studying. I think it all depends on the person. So like Space Tacos has some really great resources in her Discord. Are you in the GRC Audit Treasure Trove yet? So I'm dropping that in chat. You can click on that link in our Discord or on the YouTube side. So she has a lot of stuff in there, like around the mental health, but also there's a whole section that I found about like finding your study method, what works for you. Because some people like flashcards work for a lot of people. I hate flashcards. It's one of my absolutely despise them. I've tried them numerous times, app, paper. I have a whole pile of flashcards right over on the shelf in front of the system here. Like for me personally, like I found that working in 2-hour blocks worked best before taking a break. I like to skim through a book related to it, and then I try to take like a course, like a video course or otherwise, while taking notes. And then I actually go through and read the entire book front to back. I like skim through it and then I read it after I go through a course, which makes me kind of remember it a little bit better. But then also like I take things way more accessibly. And that's why I'm such a fan of like Gemini, because I'm constantly asking AI on the conversational speech, like, oh, explain this topic to me differently. Tell me more about this. And so trying to dig a little bit deeper into it.
Fast.
And like one really good example is like with the CISA, I had never even thought about sampling methodologies until I went through that material. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, this is like goes really deep. And there's a lot of different topics in that certification exam like that, where you could go down a very deep rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, the book. So, I've got it right over here. The old one, you can't see it, but anyways, that is the most dry reading I've done in I don't know years. Dry. I'm talking about. I was parched literally everywhere because that's how dry it was. And so, anyways, I totally agree with you. I like community. I try to do it with some of my coworkers. And we all thought we had a good grasp on it. We went through ISACA's official training, their platform, basically, not the whole class and everything, but they allow you to do the little test. I can't think what it's called right now. It doesn't matter. But we all thought we had it, and we all failed. So it's like, whoo. I don't know if I have an extra 500 just laying around because, unfortunately, like PBO says, I do have 2 little ladies that I take care of, my wife and everything, and 3 dogs. So,
But yeah, don't give up, man. Stay on it, man. That's one I regret. One of my bigger regrets in the IT. I don't have a lot, but not taking that again when it was fresh in my mind. And when I was a lot younger, I read stuff now. I'd be like, what the hell did I just read? I'm not young like B does. I'd be forgetting. I'm like, damn, what did I just read? I just read it. Go ahead, Chris.
Did you get the official training guide? Like the official book?
Yeah, that's what I grabbed.
So my favorite one is the one from Packet. Yeah, you have the official one. I would get the one from Packet. That one is way more clear. I bought it digitally. But yeah, the one from Packet is way
was that the one
easier
by
to read. It's not so much
Doshi, or was it something like that?
I could double check. Yeah, if you ping me on, you could DM me on Discord.
Yeah,
we'll just remind me.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't remember offhand.
Could you also?
But it was much easier to read.
Because I'll post it in the Discord.
Yeah.
I've got the CompTIA version of the CISA study materials.
Wait, CompTIA did a study for CISA? Wow.
Wait.
Huh. I didn't know that.
You know what? Let me check. I might be telling a lie. Please hold.
Well, I just want to ask one last question, and then I'll
mine.
let you go. Oh, I apologize.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything else to add there?
Well, Space Tacos talked about flashcards, and this is my last question. Anki, I think it's what it's called, or something like that. You can make your own flashcards. Anybody familiar with that?
Yes, you can. Okay. I've never used it, but I've heard people. Some people do love it, but I do recommend you figure out how you learn best, because like when he said read the book, your face twisted like it does for a lot of people, and that's fine. It's perfectly fine. He is clearly the book man, and that is not you, and that's okay. But you should figure out how you do learn, because if you like a video or just to hear it with an audio, or if you want to throw some music on it like Tyler Ramsby, or just whatever it is, figure out how to do that so it'll absorb a little easier for your brain. Which this is all basically from my talk in a few weeks, but do that. And I mean, I recommend for the Security Plus, I recommend Professor Messer materials. His practice test questions are the best.
Yeah, I passed with him. I'm sorry if I misunderstood, if I made myself unclear. I did take the Security Plus and pass that. I was good with that.
Oh, okay,
and
sweet.
Professor Messer was 100%. And if you're a veteran too, there is some discounts he'll give you. Just got to write him an email, and there's definitely some discounts in there for some veterans too. So something to think about.
I'm a daughter of a veteran. That doesn't count.
Yeah, and I got the CISA packet book from that Heming Doshi or whatever. The biggest benefit that I've seen with that is that it includes the entire web version. So through Packet, there's a whole video course, flashcards, practice questions, everything built into their website that you get access to when you buy the book as well. So
you're saying Packet?
Yeah.
Like I got a packet in the mail?
I think there's no E in there. I think it's just PACKT, right?
Yeah.
Packed?
Yeah.
Okay, packed.
No, that's fine. That's what I call it too, Chris.
This book. This one.
The cool thing is
whatever that is.
I work for a job. They got a subscription you can get to. I had a job. They had a subscription to that. So sometimes if you check your job, sometimes they give those subscriptions to Packet, and I forgot the other one. There's a couple of them.
I'm like 90% sure this is one of the hundreds of books I got through Humble Bumble.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a Humble. Yeah, for sure. Packed is all over that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the big book. That's but what's the name of the company?
I think this is a McGraw-Hill. I called it CompTIA because all of my other CompTIA books look exactly like this.
Yeah, facts. Come on, Space Taco, get it together, man.
You know what? I'm working on it, mister.
Get it together.
Alan asked about the date on it. So this book was actually, the second edition came out in 23. So this is recent material that I just... So June of 2023 is when this book came out that I showed.
Well, to Alan's point, they just changed it in August of 2024. So that book that I just showed you is the old one, is the one right before that. Mm-hmm. So they changed up some of the percentages, and they added in They added in more AI. And they also added in a blockchain and different things like that. So yes, more fun stuff to study for a brand new test. So, but guys, I'm going to have to take off, but I wanted to say thank you. It's been a blessing, and you are all amazing. Everybody writing in and all the info that they're sharing, and everybody on the board here, if you will, call it that. But thank you again, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you tomorrow morning, I guess, on the daily cyber briefing with old Jerry, and we'll catch y'all later on. So,
right.
Chris, thanks
Bye,
everybody.
David.
You have a great night. Thanks
Yeah,
for helping
thanks for
out.
joining, David.
Hey, thank
Thanks
you.
for joining.
Bye bye.
Ooh, tomorrow's
So I'm
bingo.
dropping the. Oh yeah, tomorrow's bingo, and we have the Discord AMA tomorrow as well, and the whole panel.
Tomorrow's
project.
panel. AM. Yay.
Tomorrow's a big day.
Oh,
And then
Chris,
I just dropped the stage link. Yeah, go ahead.
are we doing anything in the morning in the Discord?
Probably. So that was one of the things I was going to mention is I want to start doing like a coffee stand up or something like that inside of the Study GRC Discord in the mornings. So like what I was thinking is like we could do it like 20 minutes before Simply Cyber starts their 7 o'clock stream.
What?
Or
Come on, man. Let's wait.
like-
Go ahead.
but we had like a dozen people in there the other morning.
No peer pressure.
I thought you would do the time we did the one a day, which was a little, I guess, in the afternoon. But sure, call, because the one was lit this afternoon when I just kind of fell on in there.
So, hey, PBO, that one wasn't this afternoon. That one was all day.
I know I was late.
Yeah.
It was afternoon for me.
Started this morning.
Okay, I flowed in kind of late. When I saw it, it was like,
Yeah, you did.
I don't even know if it ended ever.
it did. Well, yeah, we shut
about
it down.
3 p.m.
Yeah, we shut it down around there. So.
Yeah, me and Flakinator hopped in there at like 8 a.m. and then I think I left at like 11:30, and then it was still going until almost 3 p.m. So yeah.
It was
Yeah,
a
I had to
long
leave
time.
because I actually had work to do because I was going to be.
That was my point.
Same.
But myself and a few other people are more, get up a little earlier. I wanted to do something at like 5 o'clock in the morning Central Time. That would be like 6 a.m. your time, PBO. But yeah, everybody's like, nah, we're good.
I'm trying to go to the
Vito
gym.
won't be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't made anything completely official yet. But yeah, and see, like Flakinator mentions like 9 a.m. Eastern, but that won't work because
That's jaw
that goes into Simply Cyber jaw jacking, and I'm not going to miss that every day.
Yeah, that's why I thought you would do something a little later. Go ahead.
Well, and like another option would be like a lunch hour type of thing, but then we also have to struggle with time zones because a large majority of us are all the way from the Pacific to the Atlantic or otherwise. So, but yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
Flakinator's up at
7:30.
5:30.
I think 7:30 Eastern is a good time.
That's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, depends. Just think about it. Whatever you pick, I try to flop in there. But I mean, that's
Flop in there.
no, I know.
flop in there. Other people trying to go to the gym, man. I'm getting my Planet Fitness on, man. I'm trying to make a comeback. I'll be on the treadmill with the old people in the morning.
Hey,
Look, we got people that
I'll
join the
comment on
live
that
stream
in a
on the
second.
treadmill.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's just an idea that's going around. We've met up a few times so far this week, but I want to like set something up officially, like within that first hour before the daily cyber threat briefing, Monday through Friday. It's just like unrecorded, 20-minute stand up or so. Ask questions you have or share what you're working on and so forth, and just a little bit of like a community coffee meetup kind of thing. So we're just playing around with ideas. I'm looking at like that 1 hour before the daily cyber threat briefing for like a 20 to 30 minute stand up.
So that's 8
That's when I eat my breakfast at my desk and go through the news.
You be there.
And that's fine. And
can do it
like
together.
nobody's required to hop in. So
Yes, but it's always interesting. So I always want
Yeah. I came in that one. It was like 100 people in the one. I came in. I was like, damn, where's all these people coming from?
right? Oh no.
But yeah, so if you guys have any feedback for that, let us know. We did have to cut back the bots a little bit and restrict the Discord channel a little bit. And then also January 13th at 11 a.m. Central is going to be the big State of Study GRC stream. So definitely check that out. And what I was going to mention there too, PBO, is you mentioned a treadmill. At one of the hotels I stayed at, I went to go check out their gym. I've never seen it before, but they had this huge, gigantic panel, like TV sitting at the front of the treadmill.
Yeah.
And like you could plug your phone in, you could watch Netflix and all this.
Yeah.
You could be studying the CISSP or take the exam on the treadmill. Come on, PBO.
Yeah, I gotta get, man. I got old equipment, man. I gotta upgrade my phone and some other stuff, man. I'm like Terminator, man. I'm running on analog. I don't want anybody to get me, man. So I'm running on analog. I gotta upgrade my stuff, man. I got an analog phone. I gotta upgrade my phone. So, let's see.
How do y'all use your time off?
I would take 2 weeks at Christmas for starters.
It just depends on what you do for fun, Larry. A lot of times I study because it's just me. I'm hoping to get my golf game back. So I'm usually always working or doing some work or trying to get this course together I've been talking about for 3 years. So I've been actually working on the course. So I guess it depends on what you enjoy. Even in my time off, I'm usually doing some AWS lab or something weird. So,
Gubs?
What?
What do you use your time off for?
To go to conferences.
That's not bad. That's a good idea.
I just scheduled another one today.
Well done.
Bam.
Bam.
And then also like me, like I've always prioritized like birthdays and anniversary. Kind of a little bit easier since we don't have children. It's just me and my wife. So, but like typically, like for her birthday, typically I would take a whole week off for that, and we'd like go out of town or something.
There you go.
But I've never, outside of a 2-week vacation for around Christmas, was really the only like extended vacation that I've ever had in a position.
So my rule is I don't take PTO when I'm sick because I would rather work and be sick than be off and be sick. I want to be well and healthy when I'm off work, doing fun stuff. So I just
a little
suffer
bit
through
different
it.
when you work remotely.
I mean, that's fair enough.
That's not true. I work with people did that when we were in the office. I'm like, dude, you're definitely sick. But he was like, he's like, I'm gonna get everybody else sick.
I haven't always worked remotely, and I've always stood by that rule. So unless I just like can't move, I'm going to work.
Hold on, Chris. I need you to highlight that one again for me, real quick.
In just a second, but yeah, see, the pain understands me here. GRC Power 4 hours. We got our stream name right there. Here we go. Come on, the pain. He gets the point here.
That's how we did 4 hours on Turkey Day. Didn't we do 4 hours on Turkey Day?
Yes.
We went forever, man.
2.0, 4 hour.
I'm there. Hold on, Larry. I'm old. I was around with the Quiet Storm. That's more my area. I was listening to Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass. That's how old I am, man. So that Quiet Storm, I love. That's me studying, man. I be in my house listening to Sade. All my neighbors think I'm depressed, man. So that's the stuff I be listening to.
Larry, I got one for you. I would say you start taking mental health days.
Facts.
Nothing wrong. You're not sick. You just want to take a day off and go lollygag. Literally do whatever makes you happy, bro.
Yeah, that's one thing I wish I'd have done a little more when I'm younger. I'm always on the grind. That takes a toll on you. I'll shut up.
Late shift. Chris. I mean, PBO's already streaming at 9 p.m. You stay up for a couple extra hours after your 2.5 hour stream, and you'll be ready for us.
Hey man, come on, man! I moved it back from 10, man. I thought I was doing great things there.
I mean, his stream probably goes until 3 a.m. You can probably catch the end of it.
I've had long streams. I've been cutting down because Chris been getting on me, man. I'm trying to get my videos down to 20 minutes, man, instead of my normal 2 hours.
Oh, bring on the 4 hour streams. I like it.
Yeah, and I think a couple other people dropped out too. So, yeah, just the chat's been a little busy. That's a good thing. But yeah, thank you for joining in, Flakinator, and whoever else as well. I think Misty mentioned something earlier about somebody who left as well. But
let's do a marathon, Chris. I told you, beat my young homie B2B. We did a 30-hour stream.
oh,
Let's do a marathon. We did a 30-hour stream.
yeah, and I found out YouTube will not allow us to stream over 12 hours, at least on the Study GRC channel.
Because of those guys, it was going around for a while.
Yeah,
People
thanks
were
to
doing
you,
that
PBO. And
monetized. That was B2B. I think the longest one I ever did was 3 hours with Alpha Cyber was my longest.
You know how you get around that though? You tag team.
Multi-stream.
You tag team. So Chris, you host, and then you hand it off to PBO, and then he hands it back to you.
No, Chris need all the hours. We trying to get Study GRC monetized so we can get some of that AdSense.
That's
so
so then from Chris to B-Dubs, then back to Chris.
So
yeah, so the only
the
only issue is the only issue is that we would have to restart the live stream every 12 hours. That's the only limitation.
Well, I mean,
I would do 10.
Well, let's restart it.
B-Dubs sound like she
Keep
ready.
going.
How many hours you short? Have you checked?
B-Dubs is like challenge accepted.
How many hours you short?
So yeah, so I'm not too concerned about it whatsoever. But let me double check.
Are we starting right now?
That's enough.
I mean, it sounds like PBO is. I'll see you guys at 4.
Shout out to Notre Dame. I was watching football at the same time. I was multitasking. Shout out to Notre Dame.
We need another 1,400 hours.
That's not bad. I think I'm 800 short. That's not bad.
And then I'm just double checking chat here. The Pain does have a lot to contribute.
X.
Come on up.
We need you for that 4 a.m. stream.
I think it's because I said, they can go into the voice channel anytime at 4 a.m., but B-Dubs isn't going to be there. 4 a.m.
Shout out to B-Dubs. But Chris, we were talking about that I haven't used yet on Restream is the running the playlist. I was going to think about just running a playlist on Sunday. I just running my compliance. Since I probably got 60 hours in there, I can run 10 hours at a time like every other Sunday. So that's what I'm thinking about doing.
Yeah, and that's something that I was looking at as well. So like after me and Dwight finished the first season for the privacy stream, then I was actually going through and setting that on like a reoccurring playlist. Mm-hmm. So then there might be, 4 hours worth of video content, and then we'll just have it like loop through for 8 hours.
Yeah.
So are we doing
or something along
now?
those lines.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, reruns are always best.
Yep.
So we'll see. But liking the videos, sharing on social media, commenting on the videos have a very significant impact because it's just going through and trying to share. So, yeah.
The only problem I have
share
is
the value.
Most of my videos are over an hour, so I don't think you could play any video on the playlist. So I was just going to go live and just play my playlist. So that's what I'm thinking about doing.
Send it.
So I think that's what I might start doing, at least at the end of the month. So I might try to do that this Sunday.
Rhonda's forced into time off.
Me too. I'm always like that.
Rhonda makes that sound like a bad thing.
I can't even keep enough time off around because I use it too much.
Yeah,
all these conferences.
Oh, that's cool. That's one thing I think. Hopefully in 2025, I hope to make a couple of conferences.
America turned us all into workaholics. We don't know how to truly relax here.
That is incorrect.
You sit on a throne of lies, sir.
That's incorrect. That's a space taco issue, not
You know what?
That's not an everybody issue. That's a space taco issue.
That's an America issue.
No.
America. Well, I think what happened. Well, I'm not gonna get into that. But
I already have to cut the video already, thanks to PBS.
Me as well.
No, leave it in there. Anything I say, I'm not scared of, man. I'm about that life. I'm old. You don't need to cut nothing out from me. But I just think that's the cool thing about IT and cybersecurity. You make more than the average person, so you don't need 2 or 3 jobs to survive once you get in the industry. Then once you get a little time under your belt, you start getting to some much enough. Because we looked up that AWS job that one time. I'm trying to get to that, but there's some cool numbers out there though. Shout out to IT
Damn.
and cybersecurity.
For which ones? Which shout outs?
Remember, we were looking up that AWS job I was trying to get that I failed. What was it, like 350 or some crazy number?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
It wasn't 750, was it?
No, we looked. That was that Netflix number.
Okay.
I thought the 370 was crazy, but Netflix has something. But it was from like 300 to $1 million. Something crazy. Netflix.
I remember that.
Shout out to Luke.
Welcome to the party, pal, Luke.
Hi, Luke.
Yep, Chris Anderson. When I first got into IT and I first got my real bump, it was very life changing. I went from the hood of making like 60. Then my mentor showed me in the government they were stealing my money. So then I got bumped up to
Oh, gosh.
Well, long story short, a lot of times Deloitte will pick you up even as a junior person. They'll pay you 60, but they're billing the government $250 an hour for junior people, man. So my guy was like, dude, your bill rate is like 180 and you getting 60. I'm like, so that, that was definitely life changing. Oh yeah. Once you get to those crazy numbers, I worked with a couple Oracle consultants their bill rate was $300 an hour. So it's just something, He said he was only getting half of that. He was barely surviving though. He was only making $150 an hour. I'm like, that's like 2005. So it was crazy. So yeah, it's definitely life changing once you get in the industry. Especially when you start working for the larger companies. And even if you get the GS, like Larry's talking about GS, even if you get 12s and 13s, those are life-changing bands, especially if you're getting the top half of those bands. You release around 90 and 100.
Yeah. If anybody else has any other questions, definitely drop them in chat. So we'll still stick around here. Rhonda did an amazing presentation. We are coming up to our 1 hour and a half mark. So here in about 36 minutes or so, we'll start bringing it to an end. There's a couple other ones that I did mark through, such as Dwight mentioning some of us got peer pressured.
Yes.
It was mentioned in chat, kind of like Dwight peer pressuring me into a privacy stream every week. But it's
You
great
do have a
value
point.
community. Yep.
Uh-huh.
And then also a new movie coming out, PBO Party, Hangover 5.
Shout out. That is incorrect. He's too old now, man. That was a young PBO. When PBO was slim. That's another life, man.
Hysterical.
It was a good life, though. That's all I'm going to say, man. That's all I'm going to say.
And then there's also this one here. If you haven't spoken yet and you get a random DM from Chris, don't be surprised. Yeah, everybody is welcome to present, whether you have experience doing so or not. If you, especially if you are a regular, otherwise, yeah, like we're a pretty social group here. So yeah, but if you would like to present, or if you have something you want to share, even if it's just for a few minutes or something, I want everybody to feel comfortable to do so. Even if you're not in industry, you're still studying, you still have value to bring to the table. Or even if you've done 100 conference talks, like anybody's welcome. And we could also do it outside of our normal Thursday streams as well.
Dwight,
I know the time doesn't work for everyone.
Dwight, I got booted off though. He called me, then he just rescinded my offer. Dwight, I'm hurt. I'm hurt as a presenter. It hurt my feelings, man. I was in there, but then I got demoted. I got kicked out.
Sorry, PBO.
I got demoted. I hurt my little feelings. Demoted.
We have a special mystery stream though. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's all good.
I was just going to say, somebody who, got PBO ripped off the schedule, instant Band-Aid pull.
No, it's all good. I tell Chris I'm the backup. If anybody don't show up, just hit the back signal. I'll show up. I got something to talk about. So I'm always here for you.
I'm going to have to make that now, PBO.
That signal.
Chris reached
I'm going to
out
have
to
to
you.
make a PBO signal.
Chris reached out to you prematurely. B-Dub's had it handled.
It's all good. I'm the backup guy. If he needs you just throw the PBO signal up, I'll show up.
We'll let you know 5 minutes. We'll let you know 5 minutes before.
Oh, that's too much time. I just roll in there.
We already ought to be live streaming for him to show up unannounced.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I ain't scared.
We'll let you know right at 7 p.m. then.
I'm good. I got slides for anything. DevOps, AWS, NIST 800. What we going? CMC. I got a slide for you. What you need? I got it. Got it.
Yeah, and absolutely no issue there. Thanks for hopping in on the stream. But yeah, that's one of the benefits with the meetings being recorded now. And then also sometime tomorrow I'll go through and cut out just the presentation and publish that separately on our channel as well.
Yeah, so there's not all this extra nuance.
Yeah.
Nice,
You know,
nice,
like
nice.
PBO, you know, trim cut around 48 minutes.
No, I don't need a trim cut. I'm gonna leave it up there, man. I ain't scared.
Not even 2 seconds into the stage being open.
Boom, I'm in there, man. Making inappropriate jokes.
That's
Facts.
We're just giving you a hard time. But yeah, so that was a couple of different questions that I had marked out. And then, yeah, unfortunately, we can't give too much information about next week, but boy, did that get, throw PBO out, into the cold quick. So I would definitely check it out next week.
It's a mystery.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we're gonna have PBO like jumping onto the stage right off the bat, trying to find out who it is, or what it is, or what team it might be.
I'm just gonna be waiting. I'm gonna be waiting on pins and needles like everybody else. I'm excited. Just waiting for pins and needles like everybody else.
It's gonna be a good time.
And then Space Tacos did finally publicly announce a talk in February.
Yeah.
Ooh, shout out to what we talked. What was the talk, or is it under wraps? We keeping it secret.
We're talking about
Space Tacos.
learning styles and mental well-being.
No, that's cool. That's valid.
Yeah.
Like I said, learning styles. That's cool.
Yeah. It's gonna be boring as all get out.
No, I got faith in you. Gonna jazz it up. Put some spice on it.
I'm gonna make it boring just on purpose because you said that now.
You gotta spice it up. You can learn or you can't learn, but we're gonna learn today. I don't know. You got to give it some catchy line and shit. Like Kevin Hart, you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. Come on, people. We learning today.
Man, I don't do catch lines.
Gotta give you a
Just prep with about a 2-hour meeting with one of PBO's live streams.
Challenge accepted.
So, and yeah, in order to prep for your presentation.
You know, the funny part is you guys think you're actually going to scare me.
No, I don't.
Scare you?
I don't think we're gonna scare you.
It's like, I used to do this for a living, bro.
Oh, facts.
Yeah, then where you been?
Life. Yeah,
Where you been? We've been streaming for how long?
Facts.
I have been off learning how to be an auditor.
Yeah,
where have
where's
you
your
been?
presentation? Where's your presentation?
Facts.
That's a
For
good
what?
question.
Facts.
I've been here since October.
Presentation for what?
For your auditor, being an auditor. Where's your being an auditor presentation at? Where you at?
Well,
I'll make that one
wait
next.
till February.
I'll make that one next.
You late. We need you on top
Space
of that.
Tacos is going to put together some really amazing talks, and I just like getting that information out there.
Facts.
And then Luke, so that's separate from what I was talking about. So Study GRC is lining up 2 talks every single month. And then also special streams are available as well. But yes, there is also that public speaking group in the Simply Cyber Discord to check out as well, which is the last Tuesday of every month. They didn't run for a couple months this last year, but yeah, it's once every month. There's a channel in the Simply Cyber Discord for it. That it's particularly focused on people who just want to upskill in the public speaking realm. It's not recorded, and then you get some feedback from people who have like attended and worked with like Toastmasters before.
Facts. I've been in it a couple of times.
Yeah, but also anybody at any skill level is welcome to present for Study GRC as well.
Facts. Which is good. I think everybody should do it. Because that's
I'm sure PBO's going to do it too.
Say that again.
Said you got to step out of the shadow.
Hell, I'm shit.
Not
I
you.
was gonna say me. Y'all gotta put me in the shadow. I'll be out in front. I'll be out.
Not you specifically, PBO.
Okay.
Yeah. So
generally.
This is one of the first articles that were published on BritWhite.io, which is BDubs' website. I highly recommend to check it out, and the link is in the chat about stepping out of the shadow, how you can contribute, how you can further learn and develop yourself by sharing your information too, and just stepping out. So, and anybody is able to do it, and it's highly recommended.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, a lot of times too is when you start presenting at your job, that really leaps you up in the eyes of your leadership when you start presenting. I got forced to present. I didn't want to, but once I did it, I just realized how everybody knows you. Everybody assumes you a SME if you speak about it, which is crazy. I'm like, dude, I just figured out this topic last week. So,
I mean, I've just been self-study for 14 months, basically. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's that, maybe longer than that, but yeah, I mean, that's really all it comes down to is that, you don't have to be an expert to talk about something you're learning about. And I think that's one of the best ways to document your journey as well. Like, oh, I went through this room on Try to Hack Me. This is what I learned from it. Even stuff like that is useful. Or, your take on how you study, or, what you think about this topic or that topic, or just breaking down different things. There's a lot of different useful stuff and perspectives out there, especially based on your background. And the pain, I think a presentation about being an auditor is absolutely amazing. I think you could really make that InfoSec.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's welcome here.
Oh, facts. Yeah.
Hey, we need a mascot.
That's what.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, is that being an otter or auditor? Otter. But yeah.
An auditor.
I need to do a stream on that now. Space Tacos got me thinking. I don't think I really ever broke that down from an assessment standpoint. I talked about doing assessments, but I never just talk about being an assessor.
So I've been taking the CCRF course. It is very relevant to my job, even though the cert isn't as well known yet. I'm still going to take the exam probably in the next week. Anyone have any advice? The main thing is that the course is supposed to cover 100% of it. They have their practice stuff, like exams, not only in the course itself, but then also free ones available on their website as well. I mean, that's some of the main thing if you're going to go through and take the exam. I hope you got it before the first of the year, because the prices just went up. Anybody else have anything to add on that portion?
Nope. I think you should take it if it's relevant to your job, and certs are never going to hurt you. So.
So Space Tacos wants to add to that portion. So did the CCRF course and took their practical exam, but I will not be sitting for their certification. I think it has solid information though. Great and good luck, and great luck on the test.
Come on, Space Tacos. Yeah. Get that together.
Hey, it's not as bad as who.
I wasn't the one reading out loud, bro.
Oh.
Good point. That's a good point.
They got jumped out through.
The emojis threw him off.
It did. Well, maybe Chris need to tighten it up now.
With our turnout for the voice chats lately in Discord, both the Study GRC and the Simply Cyber one, I may put something together just to openly discuss the accolade situation. Ooh. So yeah, I think that would be a really good way to open up the conversation for the community.
That might be a good idea. I sent you a message on that, Chris.
So as we say in the hood, you start off 2025 with smoke. I mean, I thought you choosing violence on 2025.
Hey, where's that soundboard? We need that spicy.
Yeah, where the spicy? You choosing violence starting off with 2025. Spicy. Yeah, starting off with violence in 2025. Man, what's going on, Chris, man?
Yeah, no, it's just something that more and more people I feel need to be comfortable speaking about and so forth. And I've talked to a lot of different people about it. And, most people, it's just like here right now, a small portion of people are willing to come up onto Restream and be on the stage and share their opinions and so forth on it, which is fine. I respect everybody's decision with that. But I see a really good turnout with like the voice channels lately in Discord, and I think that would be a great way to talk about it as a community, because that's what matters. Is we need to openly discuss and figure it out, and share everybody's take. So.
I'm gonna support you. I mean, is it a debate? Is B-Dubs gonna send out questions? We're gonna ask both sides. How this gonna go, man? I mean, are you just gonna come out and just punch him in the throat, man? What we doing, man? I'm just trying to figure out, man. You choosing violence? How we gonna do this violence, man?
I'm not choosing violence here. Jeez, make it sound like you over here.
What are B-Dubs doing?
I mean, a perfect platform would be to actually have
a moderator,
conversation with.
Oh, okay. I can be a moderator.
You moderating and shit. Have a man and Chris side by side.
Well,
yeah, I can keep it calm.
Well, I think one of the most important parts is to actually have an open community conversation about it, because there have been so many things that have been brought to light, and a lot of people who have mentioned things to me. But then also, it's just like what I've shared previously and so forth. I post it in the Discord, and we're just not getting clear, direct answers at all.
I'm a pacifist. That's all I'm saying, Chris. But I'm here.
I agree with you, Chris.
Oh, I believe that 100%. Yeah.
Now, when people started, I'm gonna end it, but I think you rolling your sleeves up in 2025, stretching. Get it started. And call my man up. A public debate. Red pill versus the blue pill. Let's go get it started, man.
Well, let me ask you this, PBO. Are you going to go off and spend $500 for their 16 hours of training to get to their advanced level cert for NIST CSF?
I will not do that. I will not.
Why?
I will not.
Because PBO won't even take the CISSP.
That's a really good point.
Take it. It's not a money issue. It's a time issue for me. But
that's what I'm saying.
For me too is, and I think Chris brought, and even Oju talked about that, is quality courses at a quality price is kind of hard to find, right? So I think that's what the discussion is, right? I think the course is good, but you saying the cert at that price ain't correct, right? Or I don't put anything in your mouth.
So like I talked about in that stream this last Monday, and then also in the Discord and on the YouTube thing, there's a few different inconsistencies, but my main issue is with the certification. Mm-hmm. It's not that I have an issue with the course content. Right. I have an issue with the certifications, because when you look at that type of price point and what material it covers, and some of the other statements that they've made, that is where I have my issue, is the certification end with Accolade, not with the course material.
But if people willing to pay for it, right? That's on them, right? Or are you just saying they need to be informed before they pay that? Is that your?
Well, I think there's a whole portion that goes along with being informed on it, but then also there's been a couple call outs on their marketing tactics with manipulative language, some deceptive pattern design as well. Which we've talked about with the privacy stream, which you could see where that was influenced from. But then also like this entire thing with marketing for practical hands-on, when it's not even the training materials practical hands-on. And then when you look at the pricing, they're charging $500 for up to their advanced cert, which only includes 16 hours of instruction time. So 16 hours of training, $500 just for the exams. That should be concerning for most. Like the Sec Plus material is like way more in depth than that. And a couple other things too. And there are other certifications out there, such as the CSF lead implementer, which is backed by CISA. So there are other options out there. And especially when you include training, then it becomes even more worrisome when you're looking at cost. And they're directing this towards newcomers who are not more familiar. They've also done comparisons between their certifications and things like the CISA, which is just completely unfair, not only based on the material level, but the exam types, the organization. There's so many different issues with their marketing and company itself. So, and a lot of this is compiled from far beyond than just myself.
No, okay. So are you just discussing it? Are you inviting him to discuss with you? What's the format?
Well, so that would be the best case. I mean, I know that Leon and other people have watched. So, I mean, that would be the best case, is to actually have an open form conversation with the community, and Accolade would be the best case.
I wouldn't do that against
Just-
you if I'm them, though. I wouldn't sign up for that shit. But go ahead. I'm not going.
Well, I mean, the YouTube comments they've been responding to. But
Oh, yeah, it's different.
I've never seen a
Face to face,
live
different.
form.
Yeah, face to face gonna be a different ballgame. That's why I signed up B-Dubs to moderate, man. If we're gonna go face to face,
Yeah, moderate.
moderate. B-Dubs, calm down. You moderate.
Well, I think giving the community that opportunity would be valuable. I don't think that they would do it, but I'm saying that I feel that would be the best case scenario is for them to open the floor for that.
Are you gonna invite them to see if they're gonna come? I'm making up shit over here, B-Dubs. I'm just making shit up. I don't know.
I'll tell them it's hosted on PBO's channel.
I'm good with that. I guess for me though, and I'm going to step out of it. You a grown man is. I just feel like it's a little tension there. So if I'm having tension with somebody, I want to invite them on face to face. To kind of, I guess work it out or walk through it for a debate. So I don't know. I'm kind of weird like that. Chris is so passionate about him. Maybe I'm just taking that fire a little too deep from my side, I guess.
Yeah, so I had talked about before how I've been providing feedback for over 6 months in private messages.
Facts.
And that's why I took it to the public domain on the conversations and so forth instead, because including everybody else who's reached out, it just needs to be talked about more openly. And like I said before, it's not that I'm dead set against Accolade.
No,
I think that it can be valuable for the community and so forth, but it's far too expensive. And there are concerns of things that they've mentioned, such as practical hands-on, when it's just not true. So, and that's the big thing. Like it wouldn't even be that difficult to get me on Accolade's train. It's just they haven't been able to actually clearly answer and respond to the questions that have been presented numerous times. Right. And so that's why I think having an open conversation with the community would be extremely beneficial for them, because I don't think that it's difficult for them to answer. They just haven't really answered.
So what's your thumbnail gonna say? Accolade is big. No, I'm just we gotta get that clickable going. What we do? I'm just playing.
I was just gonna point out, Chris said it wouldn't be that difficult to get him on the Accolade train. I personally have gotten Chris on a few trains, and it's not difficult. No. He just needs answers.
No, it's fine. The reason I guess I'm so tense is, and everything Chris brought up was 100% valid. He's just so passionate about it. I don't know. I feel like it's an attack, and I ain't even in it. But that's just me, though.
The PBO's already taking it personally.
I do. I take. If Chris cut me out like that, I'm punching him. I'm punching him if he ever come at me like that. I'm physically punching him.
I want to make it very clear on the fact that it's the certification and the price point and some of the marketing stuff that they've utilized. And I haven't been able to really get clear answers on it. But if they could provide some clear responses to it that actually make some sense without just trying to make filler fluff. I don't see it that complicated.
It's a money grab, Chris. You're making it too complicated. It's a money grab. They get a certain content and they think they can get that dollar amount for it. And you saying that's BS. Yeah. So for them, it's like, hey, and two is we talked about, there's a lot of people getting that type of dollars for that type of content.
Yeah, well, and it all depends, because also another thing is that a large majority of the people that I know, the courses were given to them. So to get reviews, I actually don't know that many people who have actually spent the money on it. So yeah, that's a whole nother ball game as well. But you see that with a lot of large companies. They'll go out of their way in order to try to create demand artificially.
Facts.
So that's a whole marketing tactic.
100%.
It's just the whole thing with Simply Cyber is they're at the top of the partner list because they had no marketing. They had pretty much no user base before Simply Cyber.
Yeah.
Other than Dion's limited amount on through Udemy, which is mostly doesn't appear to be primarily US, which is who is pretty big with NIST.
Oh, that's my first love. Shout out to NIST, but.
No, yeah, there's a lot of information. I've spent way more time on this than I would care to, and I wouldn't have wasted my time through it unless I seriously saw the damage and the issues for the community impact. Because I mean, there's hundreds of other options out there that are actively scamming the community.
Oh yeah,
So
there's a ton of them out there, which is a shame.
yeah.
No, that's it, man. I'm gonna leave you alone. It was just, I was like, Chris, just
You're fine.
picking violence in 2025. He's just coming out. We ain't even got in them January good. Like, shout out to Larry. Chris wants all the smoke. Facts.
Yeah, I will
Facts.
openly state right now that I have no issue reaching out to them and tossing the idea to them. I highly doubt that they'd be willing to, but we'll see. In such a case, what I would like to position is an actual open conversation with the community where we actually get Accolade on a live stream where the community can actively ask questions and get responses. So I'll let you guys, I'll let you know if I even get a response.
You're not going to get a response, but go ahead. You're not going to respond.
You're so negative, PBO. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
He don't want none of that, man. Because you're too passionate about it. I mean, I felt I was uncomfortable reading the chat. So it's gonna be interesting.
Well, and I think and like I said, I mean, I'm not actually dead set on it. It's just the answers. And then I'm going to drop the stage link here again. So if anybody else does want to come up, and then I'm going to catch up on chat here a little bit. Let's see.
Did I do that? Oh, duh.
Yeah, and also, if you saw like the discussions on Discord or the YouTube video and so forth, also feel free to add your takes too. Or if you want to add it here or otherwise, like that's the big thing, is opening it up for the community. I really feel like I'm the one who ended up bringing it to the public conversation, really. Facts. So, and I did that to get other people's take and perspectives.
I think you're a one-man crusade out there, man.
Yeah.
PBL's gonna support you. We a team, man.
That's fine.
I'll be out there, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna add it in the proposal on multi-stream to Study GRC and Professor Black Ops YouTube channels.
PBO ain't putting that on the side. I'm blocking you, man. I want none of that smoke, man. I want none of that smoke. I'm only declaring peace in 2025. I'm not poking any bears in 2025, man. I want none of that smoke, man. I'm gonna let you handle that. PBL's too old for all of that, man. I'm gonna let you handle it. That's a young man's game.
Yeah, and I would say that I'm definitely good friends with Luke as well. Definitely follow him. He also has a YouTube channel. So
Luke agrees with me, man. You swinging 9 irons on people, man. Happy 2025 to Accolade. No, I'm just playing.
And the fact that I can hear Luke say that, in my mind, it makes it that much funnier.
So yeah, but no, I don't know. PBO's he's bringing peace in 2025. So
yeah, if anybody has any other questions or anything else.
Long story short, what Rhonda talked about, and Larry's in there, fair work and government work is good work if you can get in it. I'm still thinking about going back to fair work, because if you work 10 years, you get a partial retirement. PBL just turned 57. He ain't got much long left in the game. So I might try to get that 10-year retirement. So shout out to Larry. I know he's close to getting that decade retirement. So I've been toying around with that. About 10 space tacos. We got you about 10.
10?
Yeah,
10, that's it? I thought it was more than that.
Think it was more than that?
Yeah, like at least once a month, right? That'd be 12.
As long as you're going on the week before me.
Who? B-Dubs? I'll go week before.
Well, then we don't have space for anyone else. We're doing 2 presentations a month,
We just got to start doing 2 a week then. Chris going to have to open it up.
2 a week. All right.
2 a week. Shout out
we're always open to special streams anytime.
Yeah, and Yeah, and so we have it scheduled for the first 2 weeks to do talks is what we try to line up, but I really do want to do more and more of the special streams where we can just go live for 45 minutes if somebody has a presentation about this or that
45.
or whatever. I think would be a really good value add. And then also, we started to move away from it, but I want to make sure that this gets announced too. So here's my 2 cents. I agree the course is worthwhile. That said, I think once I get the cert, for me, it's an opportunity to tell potential employers about what I know when they ask what it is. One of the big things that they've used with their marketing is saying that, oh, it allows you to put the keywords on your resume. But like one of the points that I've shown and gotten other people's take on is that you can also go through the NIST documents, which is about 50 pages worth that covers a lot of the same things. All of that information is still available publicly, and nothing stops you from reading through all of the NIST documentation, doing hands-on labs, and also being able to talk at a deeper length and putting NIST, CSF 2.0 on your resume. That's what I've seen other people be successful. There's a state auditor that I know personally that has no certifications and got into the field working with CSF. And that's pretty much what they did. So that's where, when you're looking at that price tag, especially like, I'm not going to bash anybody for going off and doing it, but like for the large majority, that's a huge chunk of change there. And there's a lot of other things that could potentially be way more ROI. That return on investment, which is like the whole thing around that certification industrial complex. The entire article that I've mentioned before about the certification industrial complex is not against certification. It's talking about the return on investment. Certifications are a requirement in this industry. It's just which ones have the most return is like the thought process behind it.
That's a fair point.
That's the point.
But yeah, back to that portion too. Yeah, at least one a month.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
And also like a couple of the videos I want to do coming up as well is going to be a special stream around the 850, which is about like the education learning portion, which we covered the 850 a little bit during a live stream. I wanted to do a deeper dive about that document, and then also that NIST fish scale, which I think is an amazing document that we ended up finding that day as well. Those would be 2 really, really good streams, special streams outside of our regular meeting, just as a couple examples.
Luke's going to give a talk, man. Shout out to Luke. He's going to give a talk, man.
Oh, matter of fact, Luke is actually volunteering right now in live.
Facts,
we will now hold you accountable, Luke.
Facts, man.
Bam. And he is doing a talk about like risk and vulnerability management, I believe.
Okay.
But it's in person only in North Carolina.
Okay. Shout out to that. Oh man.
And then so advice for studying the Sec Plus, any tips?
I just I don't have any. I don't have to have any tips. I kind of looked at I was studying for the CISP, then once I didn't pass it, it covered all the stuff in Security Plus, so I just took the Security Plus. That's how I did it. That's not the appropriate way, but
yeah, I dropped the link there for my Sec Plus thing, so I went through and just did a little article thing on it. Let me go ahead. I'll actually pull it up here real quick. If anybody else has anything else to add, just go ahead and hop in. But I would check this out because this is like my take because it's such a common question. I use the book by Daryl Gibson. So the 701 book is a little bit different because I think it was his co-author had to become the primary author because Daryl Gibson did pass.
Wow.
But the 701 book is out. That book, I feel, explains topics really, really well. I also have a spreadsheet for all the objectives.
I second that book. I also used Daryl Gibson's book for 601, and it was so much more. It was easier for me to read than the CompTIA study guide. Even I had a hard time getting through the CompTIA one.
Yeah, I feel like it explained really well. And then also there's this objectives list that I made where I just copied and pasted all of the objectives from the CompTIA objectives list. Because what I did when I was studying is I went through and color coded these based on my perception of understanding, like, oh, okay, I understand AAA now. Like, I'm confident with that. Or like if I go through and do one of the pre exams or pre-tests and I fail, then I can go back through and, highlight it accordingly. Professor Messer free video series was another big one for me. And
Yeah, I
that's
was
where I
gonna
mixed
bring
in the
up-
video
I
to
was going
the
to bring
study
up
guide.
Professor Messer. Remember, Letty said Messer is great. You can't go wrong with his YouTube playlist for Security Plus. It's free.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like I went through on the video series and then I read through the book. So I skimmed the book, watched the video series, read the book. And then also at the same time, I went through with the practice exams. And then also I add in here the SlaySec Plus streams on YouTube and the Discord server. The Discord server is like a hidden gem because like it's all about Sec Plus. And another useful thing is the PowerCert animated videos on YouTube as well, which I found really useful to get visual understanding for a lot of it.
Mhm.
I got a question, of course.
Yeah, go for it.
Think about doing an incident response exercise. Y'all want to be involved? I think I brought that up.
Yeah, you had mentioned it before. I think it sounds really exciting. And yeah, I think it'd be a great opportunity
So yeah,
and benefit.
Yeah, so we'll get I'll send you the layout. We'll get together and do one.
Yeah.
Me, you, B-Dubs, R Square, get Space Tacos, and we're gonna do PBO got his laptop stolen and what that looks like from incident response, something like.
Did I steal your laptop?
No, I was at dinner. I was at dinner.
Yeah.
Somebody stole my IRS laptop. So what should I do? So long story short is in the state, you gotta let your supervisors, let the CISO know. We gotta put in a police report because we gotta get our insurance to get our money back. Then PBO made a mistake. I had IRS data on it, so now I got to tell myself to the IRS that I lost 1,000 rows of their data. So I'm in Indiana. If you lose 1,000 rows of usually any state, you got to report to the state general attorney. So what does that reporting requirement looks like from a GRC perspective? And what does templates look like so we can easily make that happen when that happens in real life? So that's kind of what it's going to be.
Yeah, and yes, Space Tacos, you can do a talk with 0 slides. Absolutely no issues at all. And when you do a presentation, you could just be on microphone, audio only if you want. You do not have to be on video. You can have slides or you could not have slides. It's completely up to you. Like the whole thing is to not only give people the opportunity to do so, but then also to, share your knowledge and what you have to say. So we just try to give everybody an opportunity.
Yeah, but Space Tacos has to have slides.
Why is
She's
that?
the only exception. Because
We'll
I
just
said,
fill it in with that.
Pick it on me.
because I can.
You know what?
She want to freestyle it, man. She want to freestyle it, man.
No, slides are not required unless you go by Space Tacos.
Jesus.
Also, tacos must be shared with the class.
Everyone's getting tacos except B-Dubs.
Whoa.
Oh,
I feel personally
shots
attacked.
fired.
That's him.
If I'm the only one who has to do slides, then she's not getting tacos.
Hey, I already did my slides, Space Tacos.
Facts.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up on the chat here. We do have a few other things to pull up. So also Fleetus has also volunteered to do a talk. So like I said, we're trying to line up 2 per month for our weekly meetings. The middle of the month is kind of open discussion. And then the last Thursday of each month is our job readiness and group resume review. But we also have the opportunity to do special streams as well. So those are a couple different things to look forward to as well. Let's see.
So I need lab work experience for. No.
Yeah, and then PBO over here is going to be making a bunch of labs in his course. 853 course. When is that publishing? And where can we pre-order?
I'm working with Doctor on that. My goal is to have it done by the end of this month. Can I take up a screen? I'm working on the slide right now. I was gonna have you look at my slide.
Yeah, if you want to pull it up, you're more than welcome to. You should be able to.
Let me see if I can. Yeah. Yep.
Bam. Everybody gets a sneak peek, only on Study GRC, mind you, But wait, there's more. PBO's presenting too.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about. Incident response, family. RR2, what's the reporting? Within 30 days of the incident response role, you have to have training. You see what's in red? This controls map. We're going to do a tabletop exercise, which is going to be simulating the event of an actual somebody stealing a laptop. Must include federal data, which is compromised. That's why there's going to be IRS data on my laptop, so we can go through the reporting requirements. So that's going to be our tabletop exercise. I'm going to kind of make that into a lab. Let me bring up my lab document for that particular lab.
Oh, it looks so weird sharing the slide. Yeah, so I mentioned Fleetus, and then also somebody had asked about resume labs.
Okay.
I think that's in reference to Sec Plus, or I'm not exactly sure. If you wanted to kind of clarify what you're asking for there for example of resume labs, are you talking about like projects to put on your resume, or? Just let me know when you're ready there, PBO. Also mentioned too is flashcards for Sec Plus. Know as many acronyms as possible. Yeah, there is. I don't know how many acronyms for the Sec Plus, especially with like no experience.
Give it back to you. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to go over. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Oh no, you're perfectly fine. We could talk about it now. Don't try to make this meeting shorter. We got at least another. What we've been streaming for 2 hours and 3 minutes, so we got like another 10 hours to live stream on YouTube.
Yeah. Let's see, where's my?
We need a 30-minute of PBO stand-up at the next Simply CyberCon. Ooh, there are so many different amazing things for Simply CyberCon. I wish there was no NDA.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, shout out to me.
Yeah, we need a PBO out at Simply CyberCon.
I'm gonna organize a GRC Mafia meetup, like an official one, because to be honest with you, like I was pretty weak on that, prep work for the, GRC Mafia meetup. We did one. Like Rhonda was there, a couple other people. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see if B-dubs can make it this year or not.
Can? You mean will?
That'd be cool.
Can. Because if I can be there, I will be there. So we have to see if B-dubs can make it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, okay.
So Davey mentions I highly recommend anything by Daryl Gibson. I used his material the past Sec Plus after failing it using Jason Dion's material. Yeah, and I'm so glad I got Gibson's. It's explained in such great detail.
I loved it. It was like explaining it to a kindergartner. I loved it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Space Tacos brings up an amazing discussion that I think I could talk about for way too long, more than anybody would care to listen, I'm sure. Backdoors and breaches by Black Hills Information, but come up with scenarios for situations for GRC perspective. Jerry did mention. Do what?
I'm down. Let's go.
I did that at my job, actually. So that makes, we did the backdoor and breaches. I actually ran it, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think the backdoors and breaches is great. And so Jerry did mention in the Simply Cyber Discord, I think it was the GRC class chat or something along those lines, that he is in collaboration with Black Hills in regards to something along those lines.
He did say that.
But it's to implement into the existing sets. Is what he put it as, not necessarily a GRC set, which I'm very disappointed about. But yeah, I think this is an amazing idea. Like I think this would be really, really valuable because the red and blue teams or whatever else for backdoors and breaches kind of isn't fair in my opinion. Kind of like, I don't know, stickers for, run GRC.
But yeah, the only issue I had when we ran it was a lot of times is sometimes it's not customized enough for your environment. So it's like, okay, they said it'd be the next one. We had mitigated controls where it wouldn't be a next time, right? Where we would actually block that particular malware or agent, though. So that was kind of a little unique.
Yeah, and then also Chef mentions, do I need lab work experience for Sec Plus?
No, it'll make you better.
Did you want to come up on mic, Space Tacos?
I'm on mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can give you a great explanation here in chat.
Huh? What I do? I didn't do it.
He did.
Okay.
Oh, for Chef, I don't think lab work is going to hurt.
100%.
It's not going to doing lab work for anything in cybersecurity, whether it's a GRC, red or blue team, doing extra lab work or doing lab work period is never going to hurt. It's only going to help. It'll always help. 100%. It'll always be counted as experience. It'll always be relevant on your resume. It'll always be good in helping you possibly land a gig, whether it's a volunteer job, a paid job, a contract job. It's experience. Experience is experience, and it always counts.
Facts.
So I think if you do any kind of lab, it's going to just be a plus. It's never going to be a takeaway, ever. Unless you don't finish it, and then be honest.
Yeah, I think more the merrier. The more hands-on you can do, the better off you are. That's what I love so much about like the different platforms like Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, and then also I've been really enjoying Let's Defend with their hands-on labs in particularly.
Well, and don't forget KC7. It's free.
Well, yeah, and so like KC7's free. I think it's a nonprofit too, isn't it? Or
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was incorporated or not, but yeah, that was my understanding. And I think KC7 definitely has its place, just like the gamified thing doesn't really work for me in particular, which is why like I don't really throw it around as much as I probably should. I tried it,
but it's hands-on more than it is just gamified. It teaches you, which they have their daily 7, which is random questions throughout the week about anything in cybersecurity, really. And then they have like their hands-on portion. They have different rooms of various levels that teaches you the KQL, which is Custo Query Language, which is what Microsoft Sentinel uses. And I don't know on the top of my head if there's other SIMs that use KQL. I do know there's another KQL that's not Custo Query Language. But I have to learn KQL, so it's been very helpful for that.
Are you doing?
Yeah, so I went ahead and dropped the link in chat.
You doing log analytics, B-Dub, out of Azure? Is that why you learning?
Yeah, Microsoft Sentinel.
I did a little bit of that. I actually gave it to our junior person to do dashboards and stuff.
Yeah, but log analytics, all of their stuff uses KQL. So yeah.
If you need the logging requirements for that, let me know.
For setting it up?
Two things for what gets inserted in there. Then from FedRAMP, it tells you how to harden your SIM to make sure it's for federal work.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Yeah.
You just can't be putting Fed work in anything. I think Azure is pretty much set up for that, though. There's a couple of settings. I'll see if I can find them.
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions or otherwise, go ahead and drop it in chat. I'm going to go ahead and drop our Discord as well. We do this every single Thursday. We also have the privacy stream on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Central. PBO is also streaming on Tuesdays. He did take a holiday break, I heard, but he'll be back at it this next Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm working on my Slack currently.
A break? PBO gets a break?
No, it was just a break from streaming, but PBO been working on this course. I got like...
You've had 3 years to work on the course, PBO.
That is true, but I talked about the course. I wasn't working on the course, um, so yeah, I got. I think I'm
Yeah,
halfway
no, I
done
think it's great.
with the security family. So do me a favor, you get a chance, go in there and look at the one I got published in there. I think it's access
Of
control.
course.
You get that for me before I do the rest of them tomorrow. Just hit me up tomorrow morning or something. Give me a little feedback on that.
Yeah, and thanks for hopping in and joining the stream, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably be coming to end here shortly. If you guys do have any other questions, definitely go ahead and drop them. We are at our 2 hour and 11-minute mark. So how much will your course be? I think we were saying, what, $450 or?
Is that to
Oh,
me?
I thought it was $9.99.
Is that to me?
Yes.
Yes.
150. Oh, we're gonna keep it at 150. 149.99, I believe.
And
$4
did you
million.
want to give a little bit of a overview of what that course is supposed to focus on?
Yeah, it's federal compliance, especially for NIST 800-53. So let me bring that up. We're going to talk about the individual security families in there. Hell, Chris, I'm about to bring up my slideshow now. You put me on the spot. Let me bring up my slide. My overview.
Oh,
slide.
you're fine.
You're gonna be teaching it tonight.
I could do a whole thing on it.
Yeah, just
So,
going over the security families. Then the big deal in there, talking about FedRAMP, which is NIST 800-53. Talking about once again the security families, FedRAMP. Then we're gonna have some hands-on learning. The one we just talked about is the first one, is the stolen laptop. So how you would go about communication and documenting that, because that's actually a NIST control. You have to do an incident response tabletop at least yearly. So that's going to be one of the labs. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, and Space Tacos mentions $4 million per PBO's course. That's worth every penny.
No, Chris, that's a typo.
No, it's not a typo.
Hold on.
No,
it's not a typo.
No,
it's worth every penny up to, except for that additional $3,999,999.
It's a typo. I put the actual price in the chat.
Said 4,000. She put too many zeros in
well,
there.
We didn't see that one, Space
There
Tacos.
you go. I fixed it. My bad.
Yeah, and I think you could do a little bit better promotion with that too, PBO, because you're going to be covering not only a bunch of different historical information and why people should care and what its focus is, but you're going to be covering all the family groups, particular focus on the 853, but you also come with extensive knowledge of the IRS 1075 and a lot of your other compliance stuff. And then you're going to also be focusing a lot on that hands-on practical experience because you've been doing on the job for decades.
Yeah, I got 4 case studies in there. I got an IRS assessment. I have a FISMA assessment we're going to do. So how do you start? I get that question. How do you start an assessment? So just kind of walking through assessment. Going to have a theoretical kickoff meeting, walk through where the data goes through, kind of do a scope of work, and taking that scope of work and actually starting an assessment. Right? Policies and procedure, what plans you need from a management standpoint. Usually you do configuration management, incident response, COOP, configuration management. So some of the base plans you have. Doing those, then the part most people don't talk about is doing vulnerability scans and compliance scans to get findings, and how do you fix findings, and how do you do POEMs, say you're going to schedule a fix, how you accept risk from a business perspective. So kind of going through those ways of actually walking through an assessment. Then the final one everybody's talking that I don't really talk about is how to do an executive summary of an assessment and what should that look like.
Yeah, and so I was also actually going to mention this part here. So he mentions here that he's taking the GRC masterclass right now, and then he'll be looking for yours. I was actually going to mention is that the whole premise of this is as a follow-up. Like, you take the GRC masterclass, you have a lot of the fundamentals. Now you can dig into the NIST and 853 federal landscape world, which is where this becomes a really good value. And I get asked all the time about Jerry's $150 GRC masterclass, and then I think the Cybersecurity 101 is like $250, or it might even be more now. And so forth. And like a large portion why I see the value there is because educator background. Not only does PBO have an educator background, but also he does all these live streams, presentations, mentorship, and so forth, especially in the public domain. And that's where I see a lot of this value. That's one reason why I've loved every course that I've had, because I think I've had every course that Jerry's put on, and I plan to keep it that way, just because I love his teaching style so much.
Me too.
Do me a favor, Chris. Drop the playlist in there. Let Chris go through the playlist before he buys it, so he can get some kind of. Did you drop it in the chat?
So I can get the playlist, but also we have that command there for PBO's channel. But I can go ahead and pull the playlist up too.
Appreciate you. So you check out the free stuff, Chris.
Is where the meat is.
Yeah. So check the free stuff.
Look at PBO already. Yeah, look at PBO already trying to save the money.
Yeah, check the free stuff, Chris, before you get into paid stuff, man. I
got a lot of your course is going to be. It's on the Simply Cyber platform, right?
Yeah, it will be.
So it'll be one purchase, and I've got it for life.
Yes. And the cool thing I plan on doing, hopefully, I know I'm gonna keep adding to it. So it's gonna start out novice, but in the end, I'm gonna make it where it's gonna be probably 30 hours total by the end of the year. I'm gonna keep adding to it. So some stuff we talk about, people don't never put in there is business impact analysis. So people talk about probability. But until you do a business analysis and people rank their business function, how do you know what's going to have a greater impact on a business if you never rank your business function, right? So putting those two together. So go ahead, Chris. You look perplexed, man.
Yeah. So I have PBO's channel up here. We dropped it in chat, but the big meat of this YouTube channel, over 800 videos now, 801.
Shout out to me.
Yeah, and he goes live every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And so the meat of the pie here really is this government compliance and for cybersecurity. So there's 56 videos in here. And so if you check out this playlist, which I'll drop the link for in a moment, let me grab that. But this is like the playlist, what I had calculated out before with this playlist and a couple other videos. It came out to like 55 hours worth of content, because a lot of these are like 2 hours in length or whatever. But you have everything, CCPA, you have risk assessments from NIST, you have all kinds of different really great videos around the NIST and 53 world, the federal space especially. There's FIPS, there's FISMA, there's Zero Trust, there's all kinds of stuff. And so this is an amazing playlist. And then now PBO has been adding all of the different family groups as well. You have 161, 830, 839, and going through the family groups for the 53 now. So this is like one of the big main highlights for his. So, but there's a lot more than just that. Typically what I do when somebody asks about a particular question, I go to Jerry's channel and then I pull up PBO's channel and I just search both of the YouTube channels. So, and it hasn't failed me yet.
No, if it's especially if it's federal space, because I think the only one I had in there that was the ITAR, which was for moving bullets and ammunition. I did that ITAR. And
you do have to update a CMMC though.
I do. That's on my list. And I gotta do IRS has 4812 if you're dealing with IRS work, but it's not actually coming from a federal tax form. I don't think I have a 4812, so that's in my queue.
Yeah. Bam. Another one bites dust. Oh yeah, and then also while we're at it, might as well congratulate B-Dubs now that the camera's off and the microphone is muted for that CCZT, and that was taken in the future on the 31st.
Yeah,
Okay.
I literally took and passed it on the 31st, but I guess it's synced to their time zone, so my certificate says the 1st.
That's cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. I was trying to finish the year strong, but ended up
starting
the year strong. Yeah, that one. I did both at the same time.
Facts.
Those certification or those certificates, I should correct myself there, for somebody who is interested in cloud.
Yes.
Do you think that those are quality? Yeah.
I didn't let you finish your question. I don't know. I got scooped up by their Cyber Monday deal, and so buying both of them together as a bundle was cheaper than the CCSK, which is really the one I was going for. But I just grabbed it because I'm already working in cloud. So a lot of the concepts were familiar to me.
Which cloud do you
But
work in?
Azure.
Okay. You can always pass if I ask you a question you don't want to answer. I'm gonna throw that out there.
So,
No,
for someone trying to break into the field, I wouldn't, go get your Security Plus. But yeah, they got me on their Cyber Monday deal.
and I do that a
Damn.
lot with what is the I can't think tonight. What is the big one? They always have sales every quarter. Oh God, what is that? Yeah, I can't even think. Let me look it up real quick.
So if it wasn't for the Cyber Monday deal, I would not have even gotten the Zero Trust one.
Yeah, because you
Oh,
got two for like $300 or something, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think the CCSK normal price is like $3.99. But if I bought them,
Mhm.
and then the CCZT, the Zero Trust one is $150. But if you buy them together in a bundle on the Cyber Monday deal, it was like 300, 320-ish, somewhere in there. So I just went for it. Why not? YOLO, right?
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, and I've also seen like that CCSK on job job descriptions as well. So, and
Yeah,
then that ZT I think is new.
I believe
So
so. I hadn't even heard of it until it was in the bundle.
yeah,
But
and
it goes really in depth with Zero Trust, and there's a
That's
lot of
cool.
different
damn.
things. Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah,
big
I just
Zero
wanted to
Trust fan.
congratulate you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, great
Well,
work,
congrats.
knocking it out, starting the year strong. Really setting the bar high for yourself. You
Setting the
already have
bar
a
high
start on
for
the
you,
first deal.
Chris.
Oh,
I have no idea
Udemy.
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Huh?
I love Udemy sales. So that's one thing I
Yeah.
can't even think of the name. I love Udemy
Yeah, I need.
sales.
Yeah, and I need to knock out that CIPP. But I was also going to mention this. Luke mentions the PORP, which is that
Porp.
OSINT one from TCM.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he mentions the name change. I thought they did a name change because I went back to it when I was writing my 2024 recap, and I was like, that doesn't sound familiar, but that's the OSINT one.
Yeah.
I had to like double check and everything else because they updated the name, which I
So
don't like the new name either.
they did a full name change on all of their certifications to kind of, what's the word? I don't remember. But yeah,
Unify it or something.
yeah, they did a name change for all of their certifications except for the PJPT and the PNPT. Those are still the same.
Yeah, likely because those are the two most popular ones on job descriptions would be my guess.
Well, and those are the OG ones. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I have a retake for this exam as well. I actually went, like I mentioned in the 2024 recap, as I went in way too confidently. I did not properly clear my schedule for the 72-hour time limit. And that's something I hope to get to in 2025 is to knock that out properly. So yeah, right there with you. You'll most likely pop that off before I do though. And then he get the Sec Plus, get the SSCP next week. That's your plan, Luke? Is what? How busy is your schedule, Luke? Are you doing already? You gonna do the PORP and the Sec Plus and the SSCP or what? That is a really bad joke. We both know that.
I thought it was funny.
Oh, he said he did that.
Oh, okay. I thought like he was gonna knock all three of those out and so
Yeah,
forth. Yeah.
I think maybe it was because I said something about getting the Security Plus. Now he's saying he's leveling it up, get the Security Plus, then the SSCP the next week.
Bam. Yeah, and then we got PBO and Space Tacos going for the Rhonda, Space Tacos and PBO going for the CISSP this year, right?
Yeah.
That acronym has never come out of my mouth, not once.
Which certifications do you hold, Space Tacos? Just out of curiosity, while I still have you here.
I have
None, right?
a teaching license, and I have a medical coder's license certification.
Damn.
You've got to get your Security
And-
Plus
and-
this year, right? That's the
You
plan.
can get your Security Plus this year.
I thought
Space
I
Tacos
got
is already in industry.
I got mine in 2023. I thought I saw
Good for
somewhere where
you. That's awesome.
I thought I saw somewhere where Space Tacos said she was getting the Security Plus this year, but I may have misread. It's possible.
No.
Hey, we don't use peer pressure around here.
No,
Facts.
Which
just
reminds me,
misread
we also have to.
something.
So not only are we doing the coffee hour that we'll set up at some point, there's going to be more announcements for the State of Study GRC on the 13th. But then also, I think we should navigate some type of CISSP study group as well. I think that would be a pretty good thing to throw out there for PBO and Rhonda.
PBO, John. Nobody study group. That's a no. That's a no.
I heard my name. What was that?
A CISSP study group with me, you, and PBO, and whoever else wants to go for the CISSP this year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've done some of the courses for it, so I'm down for a study group. I'm not taking the test though.
Well, when
That's
you
my
take the
perspective.
step, if you study, that is a high dollar test. So I'll take that back. That's
See,
not.
I got the Security X. I don't need a CISSP.
Yeah, some
You know what,
jobs.
Chris,
Thank you for
that's
hopping in,
where you
Space
could have been
Tacos.
confused about me because I said I would be down to study for it. That's about it.
Okay. My thing is that just validates my studying. So
Yay.
if I'm studying, I just take it. So, but
Yeah,
I'm
I studied some CISSP material when I was studying for the Security X.
Yeah, and thank you for hopping in as well, Space Tacos. So I know it's getting late. We're going to go ahead and end the stream here in a moment. But yeah, thank you all for showing up tonight, and thanks for coming up as well, Space Tacos.
Yeah, thank you
So,
guys.
bam.
I didn't torture you too bad.
No, that was a great presentation.
Oh, no. Very useful, very valuable. I think it's going to help a lot of people out. I mean, a lot of people have already stated such.
Thanks. I think I'm about to lay my butt down. I got tired all of a sudden.
And yeah, just a heads up for transparency too. I accidentally deleted Space Tacos message on YouTube. Just a heads up. So I did not mean to do that. I just clicked the wrong button just for transparency.
I got put in timeout.
I was like, what happened?
Let
What
me
did
know
I
if that
miss?
issue still. Yeah, let me know if that issue still is an issue or not, because yeah, I clicked the wrong button. So yeah, my bad. That's not on Space Tacos.
Space Tacos always be getting in trouble.
Facts. Yeah, reach out if you got
What
any
was that?
questions in the chat. He said he was gonna binge watch my content. So if you got any questions once you watch it, just ping me.
Yep. And yeah, did anybody else want to add anything who's on the stage before we end this? No questions is never the answer. Wow. PBO of all people, just a yawn. I guess that's his
We're
response.
too boring.
I'm
Too
tired.
boring for PBO.
We've been going for a little bit. Then we were in the Discord. I got in there late, and I was in there about probably a couple hours. So,
Right? Yeah, thank you so much again, Rhonda, and to everybody who hopped in and joined us tonight. Amazing questions. We had like over 16 marked out. Great
it was more than that.
questions that you guys brought. Oh yeah, I think so.
There were
Yeah,
29
especially
listening
as
at
we
one
rolled through.
point.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely great turnout and amazing questions. Thank you all. GRC Mafia for life, and welcome to the new year. today is going to be successful for all of us. Leverage community, ask questions, join us in Discord. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys probably tomorrow. I don't know, 4, 5, 6 a.m. in the Discord for our coffee group meeting and the daily cyber threat briefing. Also, tomorrow is also the Discord AMA as well in Simply Cyber. That's an amazing event if you can make it. I think it's
What time is
I think it's 11.
Okay.
Let me double check real quick before we call this an end. So it's 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern time
Okay.
in Discord. Yeah, so 1 to 2 p.m. in Discord.
Check my thing. Okay.
In the SC Discord. And they do that once a month, the first Friday of every month. And it's been amazing each time. So that's going to be a really cool thing. But yeah, you guys have a great rest of your evening and finish out the week strong. We'll see you back again next week.